audio may contain coarse language and other materials that may not be suitable for younger audience. The opinions expressed in this audio are solely those of the speakers involved. These conversations may contain spoilers for current media such as games, comics, movies, television shows, and more. Chronic Geeks makes no claim to ownership of the various media discussed, simply the opinions expressed. Listener discretion is advised.
Hey. Oh, yep. New shirt alert. Asta, Black Bulls, Magic Knights, Black Clover shirt. It's pretty cool. I like it. I got a thing for t-shirts. What's going on? How y'all doing out there? Play in Wednesday. What's going on, Brad? What it is, man. So we are looking to do a little something different. You know, every once in a while we like to mix it up. We like to try new things. Got some weird music happening in my head. Tonight's going to be a play-in Wednesday. We're going to play some games. What games, you ask? I don't know. We're going to figure that out as we go along. Of course, the chat is always open, always welcome to invite people to be a part. And, oh, wait, don't leave the music. We might go ahead and fade that back out. That was set to loop. Didn't realize it was set to loop. But yes, we'll go ahead and throw the post in the comments. Boom. So there's the link. Find that link if you want to join. That's how that goes. And we are open to just live geek chat. I like, whoa. There we go. Gaming chair mishaps. Yeah, we're open to just random conversation. Anybody that wants to be a part, have a conversation, wants to talk with us, has any topics they want to discuss, by all means, we are open to those conversations. Let's see, quick play there. Just trying to make sure I got all my stuff going in the background. Face a little shiny there. Yeah, so what's new, man? What's new? Watch The Continental. That's a fantastic show. It's John Wick light. Really not even that light. It's pretty damn brutal. They still be getting into it on The Continental. But there's 3 episodes out. They're each like an hour and a half. So it's a pretty in-depth story that they're telling here. I mean, I honestly feel like they could just kind of cut the series right where it is, and it would be fine. I could like fill in the gaps. I actually don't know if there's going to be more episodes. A 3-episode series seems a little weird. Like they wouldn't do it just for it to be 3 episodes. It would probably Continental. Let's take a peek and see what I can find on the Continental real quick. If I could type, I'm having the hardest time typing right now. Here we go. The Continental from the world of John Wick. Let's see. So there's episode guide. Let's click on that. So far, it's only showing 3 episodes. Somebody does ask a question. The world of John Wick sets a potential 2nd season, but it's the best miniseries. The 3-episode first season. Okay, so hey, we got company. Always fun, always fun. Give me 2 seconds. We're gonna bring in some company. Got the young junior coming in. Bringing to the show, he's a returning guest. We enjoy having him on. He's a lot of fun, and we get to find out where he is currently. He's all over the place. Brad, what's going on, buddy?
What's up, guys? How y'all doing?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. So where are we at right now? Where are we stationed currently?
Still stationed up in northern Washington, at the Pacific Northwest. It's nice and cool up here, rainy. It's nice. I like the environment.
Okay. Up North Washington. That's pretty cool. So I was just kind of I was thinking about like the last stuff I've watched, the things I've been kind of keeping up with, and the Continental. Last show I watched, the John Wick spinoff from the world of John Wick.
I love it.
Yeah. I was thrilled, quite intriguing, and like I said, I didn't even know that it was only going to be 3 episodes, but looking at the way it kind of ended at the end of 3, I was like, you know what? If they stopped here, I can kind of fill in the gaps in my head based on what we know about the show, about that world. You know, having gone through the first 4 movies now, we kind of see how some of the other elements work. And of course, it's going to bring up questions like, how does Lawrence Fishburne become the Bowery King? But at the same time, it's like, no, I don't want to know how he becomes a Bowery King, because obviously he just kind of takes over. Maybe he rises through the ranks and becomes he becomes the head of the Bowery King. Honestly, no different than the way Winston simply took over the Continental. So, you know, it's the way they presented this season and the way they ended this season, I think is appropriate. They could leave it just as it is, and I was fine with that. Although, I mean, naturally, I would want more episodes just because I enjoyed watching it. But I think story-wise, it was sufficient as is.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you. So walking in and seeing it from the beginning, now Mel Gibson, everyone has their own choice on what they think of Mel Gibson. But I think he was an absolute diamond in this miniseries, because the way that he could play such a villain, and he played it so well, and then all the extra characters in the backgrounds, as you just see them start to slowly come together and start becoming what they need to do in order to make what happens happen.
Right.
No spoilers. If you ain't seen it yet, no spoilers.
Yeah, I mean, they've only gotten to the last episode was on the 6th. It is the 11th. Plenty of time. And this, you know what? This will be your moment right here. Let's see. We're going to change the boot, because I want to talk about it, and it has been out an adequate amount of time. So let's see. Let me grab that. Boom, boom. I'm just going to put a spoiler warning banner up. So this is your official warning. This is the moment. If you have not seen the Continental, this is the moment where it's like, you know what? Maybe
I want to turn this off.
Boom. Let's did that update? Nope, it's still showing gaming fun. Playing Wednesdays gaming fun. Oh, there it is. Edit. Let's take that down, that there. Save, and boom. Spoiler warning is live for the Continental. Seeing that little bit about the dad being like a bloody killer, the dad had the karate shop, and then her having the gun at the end, that was a moment that was like, I knew it was coming, but it still threw me when I saw it.
Yeah, she was completely against guns the entire time, and then all of a sudden dropped in at the right moment.
In a life or death situation.
Yep. Beautiful.
I need to know who that little kid is. Like, I feel like they're building that little kid up to be somebody because he's like, okay, he stands out. He's got the one arm. Sometimes things speak to me. Eh, it feels like a Chekhov's gun. Like, you can't be showing me him unless he's important somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's got to be
Agreed.
something more than just what they're showing here. Giving the coin press. So Winston buying the bank, giving it to the Bowery Queen, having the coin press inside the vault there, and basically buying her loyalty by, here's a gift for you kind of thing. That's very cool. Now that of course makes me think that perhaps maybe Winston and the Bowery King are working more closely together. Like they're working more closely together than we've been led to believe up to this point. Because when you watch the John Wick movies, he's aware and he basically I have to throw Jonathan out on the streets. And yet it was the homeless men, the army of homeless men who come to pick him up. And so it's like, is the Bowery King working with Winston? Or is he just like, he has disdain for the high table as well? And now as a result, he is like just doing his own thing to cooperate because it's, the enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of thing. Because I don't see any other example of Winston and the Bowery King working together. So that of course that's why I'm still curious about what that dynamic is. That's the only reason I think it would be interesting to see how the Bowery King comes into power. And you could do it through the stories of the Continental.
So I remember hearing that the Continental is only supposed to be 3 episodes, but I seriously think there's going to be more coming out. There has to be.
It would end up being a second season because these are not short episodes. Each episode, like I said, it's like an hour and a half for every episode. So because of that, they do cover a good bit of material in the runtime. And it draws you in, it sucks you in because it's movie length each time. So if you decide to binge it, it's like watching 3 action movies. There's enough action that takes place. Like in the first one, Frankie goes off, has his whole like Baba Yaga moment. Frankie was apparently that dude. You get to see some other people highlight and shine and get to see some of those things. The adjudicator in this one, whoa, that was crazy, like with her mouth and everything. And it's still like, it still leads questions. I think the spinoff, well, not the spinoff. I think what they should cover next is they should get more into the high table. If they're going to continue this series, the Continental, season 2 of the Continental needs to be the Continental high table rules or something like that, showing how they are coming in and allowing him to continue. And because basically they're like, this establishment is on hold. Normal operations will cease to continue until a further date. So at some point later, if the high table is going to say, okay, Winston, you've proven yourself, we'll let you continue running operations here and we'll continue to let the Continental be the Continental. He then takes it upon himself to say there's been enough bloodshed here on these grounds, so no bloodshed on the Continental. No business to be done on these grounds ever. That could be where those rules.
That was one of the things that they were talking about during the series, where he said you couldn't kill the older brother. God, I can't remember his name.
Frankie
Couldn't kill Frankie on grounds because you couldn't kill him in the Continental.
Right.
However,
you hit that red light.
That red light hit. Game on.
You see, and when the Continental got consecrated in part 3, business could be conducted, and that's when the adjudicator, she's sitting there, and like the Sharon and Winston and Wick all go down into the basement. They go into that vault, which again, the armory. So obviously he finally gets into the armory. They go into the armory. He's got all the guns in there, and they go back up. They're taking out the members of the high table. They have on all the armor, so he's having to pop them multiple times before they go down. He does that as a display of strength. The adjudicator's like, okay, well, we'll let you keep this establishment. He realigns himself, like he rededicates himself to the high table. I have served and I will be of service, and so they allow the Continental stay. She's like, but what about him? Well, obviously he's got to die. Pow, and bruh, like physics don't apply in the world of John Wick. I mean, I'm okay with the gunplay and the bullets, and they're very meticulous about their bullet count and reload timing and stuff like that. So I'm okay with everything there. People do not fall from the heights that they fall from in John Wick and live. They are on some Star Wars shit when it comes to like people falling. You know what I'm saying? Just because you fall out of a high building doesn't mean he's dead. Like, come on, bro. And it'd be okay if he didn't hit everything on the way down. Kevlar padding that protects you from bullets because it doesn't pierce the skin, it's still going to hit and have impact. So all of the shots that he take, like they take the little jacket, he just kind of holds it up over his face. If it's not touching you, then okay, boom, it stops and it like comes in a little bit, that sort of thing. But the ones that are like on your body, they're going to impact. And like bulletproof vests, you see people when they get hit with bulletproof vests, there's still like the impact where it stops. No, like this man is not just finna take like a couple of horse pills and keep running and be going through what he goes through. Now, granted, that's what makes John Wick John Wick. But you fall from that height, hit all of the rails and stuff on the way down, land in the trash. You're not just going to get dumped out of a buggy in the sewers and be like, yeah, I'm ready to take on the high table. Bruh, stop.
Now, with the Continental, that drug that they used for the injection. Do you remember anything like that? Do you remember anything like that in the John Wick movies? Because I know they kept giving him pills and whatnot, but I don't remember there ever being an injection.
It seems like that had to be a combination of like, it was definitely a cocktail of some sort, adrenaline mixed with some painkiller or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Because it was like, boom, you hit it and okay, just it had some what do you call it? Where basically inhibitors. It had like some pain inhibitors included because you shouldn't be moving the arm the way he was moving it, but because of that, like you just ignore the pain in the muscle and keep going. So because even with old girl, she was like, she should be dying in the room. You know what I'm saying? And when she reaches up on the bed, grabs it and like injects herself, suddenly she's able to keep going. And that was a hell of a twist right there. That was a hell of a twist. I really liked that the lady detective JD, that she ended up being the girl who survived the fire, the daughter from when Frankie and Winston, like that was a nice touch. And a good twist.
I liked the one scene where Frankie and Winston were in the trunk of the car and Mom was basically saying, you're going to be safe here, closes the trunk. And that's the only time you ever see that car until later on when Winston gets in there and opens it up and finds it in a completely different location. Like
now I had some thoughts about this scene, and this is one of those things like, here's the problem with being someone who ends up reviewing movies and TV shows a lot. You become like hyper fixated on details because they stand out and they mean something. So he goes back to that scrapyard, and the car is off to the side in the scrapyard. Okay. It would make sense that it would be there. The guy who was running the scrapyard basically like took Frankie and Winston in when they got out of jail or whatnot. And, like kind of looked out for them. I'm guessing the parents died. So he like looked out for them. he would bring the car there. It would be at a scrapyard, and just as a sentiment, a token to them, maybe he doesn't destroy the car for like their benefit, so to speak. Fast forward to the scene you're talking about where we see him walk up to the car. When he walks up to the car is, it doesn't look as old and beat up in that scene. And I went back and I like made it a point to watch that last little segment. The car doesn't look as beat up in the scene where he goes back and opens the trunk at the beginning of the episode, right? And then later in the episode where we realize this is where he found the coin press, the car is like all beat to hell and it's all rusted and dark and whatnot. And I thought it might have just been a thing about the lighting. No, it was obviously one of those things they messed up and they did the reshoot. Somebody messed up on the continuity for that scene because the car, it was not in the same condition. And that's why it stood out to me so much when he walked to it at the beginning. Because, of course, like you said, you showed that they were kids and they were hidden in the trunk. And that was like their safe place.
Mm-hmm.
Then you show the car in today's time and like, you know, now where Winston is walking up to the car and he pops the trunk for, you know, just, I guess, memory or whatnot. And voila. When they showed the flashback of how he was able to get the Bowery Queen to help out and assist, like immediately, I already at that point in my head, I already knew that that's where the coin press was going to be. So it didn't have the impact that scene was supposed to have. That's fine.
Well,
that's fine.
Like you said, you review movies on a more regular basis than most of us.
Right.
So, like for me, I was able to put one and one together much later on.
Right.
Before they showed all the coming together of everything. But you're right. I hyperfixate on things too. So I caught on to it a little bit sooner than what most people would. But at the same time, for some people, the majority, they probably be like, oh, that's what happened. That's where that came from. That's what this is. I mean, but yes. So for us, it wasn't quite as impactful as what I'm sure they intended it to be. But then again,
right.
It
definitely served the moment that it was supposed to serve. And I don't take anything away from the placement in terms of story writing. I literally mean it was just a little continuity error that there were obviously 2 or 3 different vehicles that were used in the condition of the vehicle in one scene versus the condition of the vehicle in another scene. And it kind of stuck out to me. All in all, I definitely enjoyed, I'm noticing a little lag on my screen here, probably because this other video was playing. Let me close that. All in all, I definitely enjoyed the Continental. Hansel and Gretel, the twins, they were great villains. Like, I need more top tier assassins like that moving forward in just the John Wick franchise. I need specialists, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't really see that. You get the occasional person, you get like your genes. In the first one, it was Willem Dafoe's character. You know what I'm saying? You have these people that are like fairly well known for what they do and their abilities and stuff. But obviously nobody like holds a candle to Wick, and everybody respects John Wick. And, you know, he's like above all, but you have these people who are obviously quite capable and do what they do. You know, Hansel and Gretel were, as I was watching towards the end, like they were even taking out other people in the hotel in order to try to get to the people who were part of Winston's team. And the one-on-one fight between Yin and Gretel, I hadn't seen a fight that good in some time. Like that might have even been better than like that might have been the best. That was that was actually the best fight in the series because there wasn't really another time. You know what? No, I take that back. When Lou was beating down the cop in the phone booth.
Oh, look, Lord have mercy. Look, that
Bruh.
I fell in love with that. Okay, look, so I use this loosely. I fell in love with her when she started beating the hell out of that cop. I was like, oh my God. Because
Yes.
in all
Yes,
reality, she
because
acted like any normal woman would. Someone's going to walk up on you while you're in a phone booth and try to corner you in a phone booth. He deserved to get his ass whooped.
beat the brakes off of him. And I was here for it. You know what? Her character, Lou as a whole, like I said, given that she was against guns and, was all about hand to hand, when she and Lemmy were doing the work with the axes and, the knife work and the knife training and stuff like that, I was like, okay, Lou gonna come in here and be a problem. Lou was obviously really against violence as a whole, which I get. She was teaching karate, and Mr. Miyagi taught us that karate is for defense only. She never went and picked a fight. She defended the hell out of herself, and she was able to defend herself with much vigor, and that was much appreciated. Just to see, and I did like that it was, based on the time of things, given when this is taking place, in the early 70s and such. It had the look, it was consistent with the look. It had kind of that disco feel. The soundtrack was
a good soundtrack.
It really played into the moment, it played into the scenes, and it kind of helped move things along as necessary. I don't know. I have high praise for the Continental. This is obviously a 4-star hotel. And as a result, I think it's a 4-star TV show. There were definitely some things that could have done more, but nothing disappointed me. As with anything, there were things that I wish were different, but I don't think any of the stuff that I wish was different impacted the overall story. I wanted a little better for Lemmy. I think it took too long for us to get to Sharon, but I think in terms of story, it made sense. Getting a little bit more about KD earlier in the series. Like, I needed to see her try to get into the hotel multiple times. You know what I'm saying? Like, I needed her to already have a coin. That way, when she comes back and she has a coin, it's like, have you visited us here before? And she like slides over the coin. That needed to be like the third time she's done this. Now she has all the information. She's pieced it all together. She couldn't put it all together before. She didn't know, but now she's a detective. She's done her homework. She's put it all together. It makes sense. And she's able to like put it together. I'm absolutely with you as far as Mel Gibson. Excellent villain, because he's every part psychotic and terrifying, but also believably frustrated as the person in charge.
So you could also tell that he was the manipulator because of how he acted, the words that he used, how he talked to people, especially Sharon. You could tell that he was talking about the violinist. He tried to steal from me. Well, what did he try to steal from you? You. It's not, it speaks on how highly he saw Sharon as not an equal, but as like a necessity in his life. But at the same time, it was like you could tell that he was kind of trying to manipulate him as well. I just felt that.
Yeah. And it's like all this time he's had to bring over the father. He hasn't done it yet, but now, today, Now it's time to bring the father over.
Yep.
It's almost like
Always.
he knew. It's like when you're sitting at home watching this, it's like, does he know that he's had a conversation with Winston? Is that why he's suddenly now want to talk about bringing the dad over? When obviously he's been, stringing him along with that as the reward. But today we're going to do it. Okay. But I did seeing.
I got something else. So speaking of Hansel and Gretel, okay. Now, when we were first introduced with those, all right, Mel Gibson's character Cormac was like, "Let's get the weird ones," and then he's like, "No, let's get the foreigners." So there was someone in that hotel that was more strange than them.
The first thing that came to mind for that was when you saw the red light go off and everybody was coming out of the rooms. Oh boy, with the face mask and the machete, who just like took a huge line off the machete. He might qualify as one of the weird ones.
Yeah, but I don't know. Hansel and Gretel was they were strange. Like they were weird, but they were just murderers. Like you could just tell they gave no shits.
They were weird in that context of Lannister weird. That was the vibe I was getting from that. Like they might have been Lannisters or something. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the black hair would have been a dead giveaway, but they just seemed a little close, It's that kind of weird.
When they opened up the door the first time and you see her in the back and nothing but a bra, and he's just like it's a normal thing, and she's just doing. I was like, who is this chick? And then all of a sudden, just like you start to realize that that's their siblings. So you're like, well,
right. And that's why I say they're, and so in terms of them being weird, it's like, okay, they're weird in like a Lannister kind of weird. But they were obviously really good at what they do. They were obviously really good at unaliving people in many ways. Because when he took on Lou and the brother, whose name escapes me at the moment, Miles. When he took on Lou and Miles in the speakeasy, and they were fighting. Like, first of all, let me throw in the grenade through, and the one guy doesn't see it. They're trying to push in on Miles, and then he looks, grabs the other guy, puts it in front of him, is able to block the blast. Hansel blocks the blast from that. You know what I'm saying? Then he gets up. Now Miles gets up, and they're going to fight. He throws a grenade, sends it back. Lemmy gets killed. And so now he's got his motivation to fight. Watching him fight against Miles, I'm like, no, please stop, Miles. You're obviously not the good one. Your sister is the one who's good at the hand-to-hand. Please stop. Sure enough, she shows up.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Miles held his own.
Sort of. He would have lost that fight. Like, he absolutely would have lost that fight.
With Hansel? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No question.
Oh, yeah. In a heartbeat.
But even to Hansel's credit, when Lou shows up, they can take him down. I just knew he was going to, like, get serious and take off the trench coat. And I was going to be like, yes, now we can see what this man can really do. He never broke a sweat, never took off the trench coat, and was just serving the entire time. Credit to Hansel. Hansel, stone cold. I mean, him and Gretel, they were stars of the show. Like, stole every scene they were in. They were so quirky and weird, and I loved it. Like I said, we need more characters like that. Like Mark Dacascos's character in the last movie. It's such a weird character because he's running this little fish shop. He obviously has like a team of assassins or whatnot, and he's going to be the one who's given the honor of being able to take down John Wick. John Wick goes through this little gambit where he has to fight all these different people before he gets to face off with the main guy. And it's like, I mean, the one thing I remember most about that movie is like Keanu Reeves jumping through glass display cases. He does that like 10 times in the scene. It's the craziest thing. Like, you just found every display case to jump through. Come on, bro. You know, and then it was like the glass and everything in that room and that scene and that whole bit. I think if we have more individually specialized hunters like Hansel and Gretel, you call them, you send them after John Wick, and you let them do what they do. Let it be a showdown between them. Let them, you know, one up one another the entire time. You have a situation where like Wick takes out Hansel, that causes Gretel to lose her shit. Now she's like all in to take out Wick and doesn't care about rewards and goes, you know what I'm saying, goes berserk. She spills blood on the Continental, yada, yada, yada. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like the only other time we've seen that is the one little girl. Well, I'm sorry, let me not say it like that. The woman who first drew blood on the Continental that Winston had taken out. It was her. She was like an up and coming assassin, and you know, everybody like kind of knew who she was. Wick ended up defeating her, ties her up, has her bound, and then he asked
the one in the room.
Yeah, he asked one of the other old timers. He's like, I need you to watch her for me. Catch and release, catch and release. You know, it's like that is the one thing. Like whoever does the script work for John Wick, I can't help but to laugh.
Well, I mean, it pretty much fits. Everything fits.
It does. I mean, because it's like, and I like all the little nods. Be seeing you. When Katie says that as she's leaving, it's like, okay, that, you know, but it's like all of these things have to mean something. Like I needed somebody to say consequences. You know what I'm saying? Because he's like, I need guns, lots of guns. Granted, I don't want the whole thing to be just a slew of Easter eggs and callbacks. But if you give me 5 and there's only 7, give me all 7. You know what I'm saying? Throw consequences in there. Because like they got guns, more guns. When she talks about the high table, the conversation with the adjudicator and Winston, that felt very reminiscent to previous conversations. When the adjudicator's henchman is talking to that guy, and he's like, no. Shh. This is where it gets fun. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that dude was whacked out. Everybody was so great, you know. Sharon, when he was like, you know what, we'll just have to send somebody else to Zimbabwe. It was Nigeria. Like, yeah, like that's you know, it had all of the excitement of the John Wick movies, even though it wasn't like this wasn't Chad Stahelski. This was an entirely separate team, but they were obviously fans of the original films and they paid attention. And I feel like they got all of the details right. I'm very pleased with that. All in all, I would say
one of the things that I really enjoyed was I enjoyed watching Yin and Frankie. Like when Yin was first introduced into the show with Frankie in the movie theater, and they had the booby traps, they had all this other stuff.
Right.
You could tell that since Frankie was in Vietnam, that's where he met Yin, and they're kind of bringing that Vietnamese war, guerrilla warfare, into the entire show. And Yin uses it the entire time. It just plays onto the character so well.
Yeah. I think honestly, Yin was a hidden gem in the series. She was obviously very, very well cast. And let's see, what did Miss Young Kate do? What was some of her other work? Does she have other work? sure she does. This couldn't be the only thing she's done. Theater Dance. Housemaid, Bitcoin Heist, Hollow. She's got a few credits to her name. Okay, yeah. Unfortunately, nothing that I've seen, but I would probably find one or two of these. That's a TV series. That's a TV series. Housemaid. Maybe this one. We'll see what it is. If it's action, I'll definitely check it out. But yeah, she was fantastic, and a good. Like I said, I still feel like she had the best fight. As much as I loved watching Lou in that phone booth fight the police detective or whatever, like watching Yin fight against Gretel, like both ladies had their moment. As any good like showdown should be, because what I really hate is when you have two people who are squaring off and it's like person A is like doing all of the damage, and then person B suddenly turns it on and becomes like 50 times better than they were this whole time, and they just like turns the tables and wins the match. That looks stupid, because it's like, if you were that good, why did you just have to like you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to have your Neo moment where it's like, you've been sitting here getting your ass kicked this whole time, and now all you're going to do is like take a deep breath, flex out, and suddenly you're unstoppable? No. It needs to be like poetry. It needs to be A, B, A, B. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, everybody needs their moment to shine. So watching Yin take the lead and start whooping on Gretel, and Gretel kept throwing that, and Gretel would get the advantage, and it would be like, and of course, like, I watched too many, like, there's this one guy I watch on, I say I'm on TikTok and sometimes on Instagram. He does like voiceover for like anime fights, or he's just like, weef. Exact. Like, I could just hear in my head while this guy is like, go back, return to sender, weef, sit down. There's a snake in my, like, the commentary that's going on in my head. Right. There's a snake in my boot. Like, the commentary that's going on in my head while this fight is taking place is phenomenal. And it keeps going back and forth. Counter. You know, and it's just like, these ladies was throwing down. Mm-hmm. These ladies were throwing down. So credit to both actresses, Yin and Gretel, for giving us, in 3 episodes, the best fights. The best fight. I
swear, man. I want to go back and I want to rewatch that fight between Gretel and Yin so bad. I really do. Because it's just so, it was so action packed. There was so much stuff going on at the same time. You didn't know, if you didn't catch everything the first time, you're probably not going to catch it all the second time either.
Right.
I'm trying to find the name of
which?
The young child who played the single-armed.
Oh, the Waco? Messenger?
Is it Wiko? Was it Wiko? Roy Hugh. There's so.
Well, you have Dan Lee as the Orphan Master. Let's see. I mean, he might have been.
What's this? Roy Hugh. That's the only one I really see.
It has to be. He's only got 2 credits.
Continental Concierge. It has her there, but this kid had more screen time than she did.
But she had lines, major lines and stuff. And honestly, a lot of times when they do the credits, that's who I'm seeing. He's only got 2 credits. He's got a credit as from The Little Mermaid and The Continental, and he was a mer kid in The Little Mermaid. So that has to be him, just in terms of age and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was definitely one of the characters that stood out. And like I said, he's got to be somebody more important than they're letting in. letting on to, because he's like, sometimes things speak to me. And when he continues to say that, I'm like, okay, what is that? What does that mean? That means something. That's got to mean something, And yeah, like I said, the only thing about this was I just expected this to be. I'm glad they didn't stretch it out over, 6 episodes or something like that. Like that.
Yeah, I agree.
But
but at the same time, it was like I want there to be more. There has to be more.
Absolutely.
There has to be.
Let me see if I can do this. I will put this. Okay, mute, and I don't know if it's going to allow this, just because some apps don't.
All right, so I don't think it's going to let you.
Yeah, the moment I started sharing, it was like, nope, you're not going to play that. Let me see if I remove it. Yeah, as soon as I remove it, the play option. Okay, so let me do this. Nope, it's not even playing. Not even on my screen, it's not playing. Okay, I was gonna. All right, so let me do this. Let me see if it picks back up when I do this. Stop share. Play. It is like no.
It's just straight telling you no. It is what it is.
Like, please disable your ad blocker to enjoy this content. So, but yeah, I was gonna see if I could pull up that fight for you, just because it was a dope fight, and
yeah, hell yeah.
And it, again, the honorable thing, like, you took something from me, and I'm gonna show you, for them to go about it that way and put it up. Ha 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 ha.
There it is.
And so, yeah, without a doubt, one of the best scenes. And I am gonna kind of like scrub through this. We're not gonna. Oh, that was
part right there.
That was the part. Yes, that was what I was looking for. I was like, I want to scrub through this. I don't want any like copyright kind of things, because I'm not sharing the whole thing. I just want everybody to see this scene.
Yen just goes hard on her right there.
Catches that leg, flips it over.
Yeah. And you're like, oh, she broke her back. That's it. And then she's
like, oh, wait, let me show you what I can do.
Like
a nice little stretch. And that was the creepiest
Terminator 3000.
Right? Super creepy at that moment. And I was like,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Look, even Yen's like, God damn it, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she starts doing all this stuff, and I'm just like, oh, God.
She got like a choking and an armbar at the same time.
Choking armbar with the triangle with the leg.
Boom.
God. And you know that even though most of this is theatrics, the way that, especially when that Yen played off that hit, man, it looks like it hurt.
Right. I mean, that moment where it's like, okay, this is it. I'm done for. And it's like, that's something you never quite see,
like,
in fights.
I don't understand.
She got butt kicked into this stone column to the point where the column got knocked down. She starts to get back up, and she's just like, you know what? Fuck it. I can't. I'm tired. Let me catch my breath. Yeah. That's what she did. She's still like, And that's what I'm saying. Like, you can't just trust that that's going to be the end of it. And I was like, okay, who's got the knife? Who's got the knife? I was looking. And honestly, at this moment, I really couldn't tell. And I was like, wait, no, that's Yin's arm. But I was like, is that Yin's arm?
And I see it
Wait,
like that,
whose
and
arm
I'm
is
like, oh,
that?
that's not Yin's arm. I was like,
Right.
there's
I
no
was
way
like,
that's
the
Yin's
little one has to be Yin's arm.
arm. Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute. And so, and then of course,
And as she comes up with this vest, I'm just like, I know where this is going. This is
right.
gonna be
I was
great.
like, oh, wait. And even that moment where she realizes. And I thought that was a very concentrated explosion. All right, I do have the spoiler
Okay.
warning on, right? I've got to go back and
It's
edit
got the
this
spoiler
video.
warning that at the bottom. Yeah, it's going at the bottom.
Well, I have to make this.
Still.
I have to go back and edit this video, not for children and whatnot. You know what I'm saying, for that scene,
Yeah.
because we showed the splat. But yeah, that is the Continental, and that is, like I said, that is hands down the best fight in this show.
So it's, I don't mean to change topics, but it's on the same as the TV shows Twisted Metal down there on the bottom. Have you seen that one?
I did see Twisted Metal.
I'm so glad they have a second season coming out.
The only thing I can like,
God, I'm so glad. It's so good.
So while Twisted Metal definitely wasn't a bad show, I didn't have anything to compare to with Twisted Metal. So that had the advantage of being its own thing to make me say, huh, what is this? They could write their own rules. It was just follow along and let it be what it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good thing. You know what I'm saying? Because
You're
the only
you're
thing
now
I figured out from Twisted Metal is I am actually a really big fan of Stephanie Beatrice. I didn't realize how much of a Stephanie Beatrice fan I was. I mean, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Rosa, but okay. Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Rosa.
So there's another show that she was in. No, it was this one. Yeah, it was this. Because also you had what's his name from Brooklyn Nine-Nine? The guy who played her fiance
Yes.
or boyfriend in Brooklyn. God, what the heck is his name?
Oh, that is Milanakis. Not Milanakis. Yeah.
Not Mila.
Jason. Let me
I need this to stop showing me dumb stuff.
No, his name is like Jason Milanakis or something like that. Mantzoukas. Let me find him.
Mantzoukas, yep. The preacher. Yeah, that's him.
And yeah, Mantzoukas.
Mm-hmm.
He has such a very distinctive like voice.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was in it. Like I said, this show, it had nothing to compare to. I will say having Will Arnett voice Sweet Tooth and Samoa Joe act as Sweet Tooth, I am almost curious because I'm like, maybe Samoa Joe could have done the voice. Like, I don't feel that so much came from Will Arnett that, you know what I'm saying? Not to take anything from Will Arnett. I love Will Arnett. He's very funny. You know what I'm saying? He is Lego Batman. He's great.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't feel that there was anything so distinctful in what he was saying that any line delivery couldn't have done the same thing. The character, his expression, his reaction to things. Credit to Samoa Joe, who did so much acting with his physicality, his expressiveness through the mask and stuff. That was actually that was pretty impressive. But no, I was a big fan of Quiet. Like, he was the Didn't realize I was a Stephanie Beatrice fan, but clearly,
So
yeah, I am.
I love Stephanie Beatrice. She just got that. She's got that.
I just don't know her from anything other than being Rosa. You know what I'm saying? I know she's done a lot of voice work. You know, she's like she's Maribel in Kanto. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, cool. But it's like, as far as seeing her, I have not seen her in anything other. Well, that should be interesting.
In all reality, I'm looking through this. I don't see.
I don't see anything that is live action.
Jurassic World. Oh, she was a voice.
I was about to say, maybe in a game version of it or something.
Reno 911.
I mean, come on, that's Brooklyn Nine-Nine before Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
You're right. You're right. But at the same time, it's still I don't know. There's like so much.
I'm actually surprised at how much voice work she's done.
Yeah. Like, I didn't realize that she was Southland.
Huh.
She was in one episode of Southland. One episode of The Closer. But I mean, in all reality, there doesn't seem to be much. All she's done is vote. The most that she's done is voice work. But at the same time, it's DuckTales.
Tell me she was Webigail.
No, Gosselin. Waddlemeyer.
Okay, I'll take that.
That's a good one. That's a good one. But yeah, so I mean, the fact that she's done so many voices and hasn't done much as far as like actual live action, it's quite surprising to me.
It really is, because she's actually really good on camera. Like, really good on camera. And what's funny is I did not realize like how short she was.
How short is she?
She is 5 feet 6 inches tall.
Hold the fuck up. Look, man, that's the same height I am. I need you to calm down with that short
She
shit,
is
okay?
5 feet 6 inches tall. I could not believe she's as short as she is, because they always like she's 5'6", and 5 feet of it is legs.
No shit. No shit.
It is crazy. Like, she has like the longest small frame ever. But yeah, like I said, I was not aware of the kind of fan that I was. But I don't want to take away from like her legit like acting. She was really good in it. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, okay, so here's something else that it looks like she's been in that looks to be live action. In the Heights. I don't think that 5'6" is accurate. I'm just looking at her standing next to all these other people, and she still looks tall. Because she looks to be their height, but she's squatting down. That's crazy.
So I'm
looking
at Jason Montzukas.
Montzukas? Right.
Montzukas. I know I'm probably butchering the hell out of his name, but so looking at some of the stuff he's done.
That's her right there.
Is that Kevin Hart next to her? No.
That's my point. But I mean, look at that. She's got her knees bent. She's not even standing all the way up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That is.
Hang on now. All right. Now I'm.
See, that's In the Heights. I'm trying to find more images of her in the live action. So I think that's her right there. In which case, that would have been. I'm not about to go through 349 pictures. We're not doing that. But browse with me while I find stuff. Close that. Okay, that was
She
her.
does not look like she's that old either. Oh, she's Argentinian. That's why. Yeah, it says 5'6".
Oh, Loki. It says 230 photos and it stops at like 6. And it's like I'm guessing Anthony Mackie isn't really that tall either. And that could be a thing.
Yeah.
I feel like all of her photos are gonna see. She does not look 5'6" right there.
No.
I think that's one of those things.
See,
She puts
Anthony,
5'6" to like get roles, and then she shows up and she's like 5'10".
Anthony Mackie's 5'10".
She stood right next to. That's a typo. There's no way she's 5'6", dude.
There's no way she's 5'6".
Look at that. There's okay. IMDb, get your shit right.
And
So disappointed. I'm like, if this chick is 5'6",
it's not just IMDb. It's Wikipedia too says the same thing. It says that she's 5'6".
Hey,
Hello,
what's
my
going
two
on?
brothers. What up, Dave?
Got a link out there. Like, what are you doing up at 10:30? There's a link if you want to hop on in here. We're just talking a little this, a little that. Actually, going through the TV shows recently that have been out. We went through the Continental. We're now discussing Twisted Metal. I was probably going to bring up Ahsoka and what was the other thing I watched? Gen V, The Boys.
The boys.
Actually, I haven't finished Gen V.
I couldn't finish the boys. I just I had to stop on it.
Really?
I don't know. There are some shows that people are all like, "Oh, it's the best thing ever." I watch a season or a season and a half of it, and I just freeze, and I'm just like, I can't do it anymore.
Okay.
The same thing happened with me with Walking Dead. I got into season 4 and I was done.
I think I made like season 6, but it was right at the beginning of the season. I was out.
Mhm. Now a show that Netflix has, Ragnarok.
I've heard about that.
So Ragnarok is really good.
There's always room on the couch, bro. Now Ragnarok that's the kid who like goes to live with his grandparents or something and slowly realizes that he's like the reincarnation of Thor.
Sort of. So
Okay.
him, his brother, and his mom moved to a new town in Norway, Norway, right? And when he gets there, you could tell there's something. He has a there's a mental disability with him somewhere. He has that kind of downish feel. He's just slow. I'm not going to say that he is down. I'm just going to say that he's slow. You can tell that it takes him a little while to catch on to things.
He's just other.
Yeah, he's other. But at the same time, as the show progresses, he starts to realize that he's starting to gain the strength. He's starting to gain the speed. He's starting to get the abilities. His eyesight's getting better. His brain's working faster. He's getting stronger. He's thinning down. He's becoming more muscular. He's realizing all this stuff, and he's trying to figure out what's going on with him. But there's a corporation that's been around for centuries, and he finds out that they're poisoning the city by hiding toxic waste up in the mountains, and it just slowly builds up, and you come into Thor, you come into Loki, you come into a lot of the Norse mythology, you come into the giants. The giants of the Norse mythology are in there, and the battle between the two is there. It's an amazing show. Season 3 is out now, and I will have to tell you, and I will say this much right now. I went through season 1, and as soon as season 2 came out, I binged it in 2 days.
Oh wow.
Now that season 3 is out, I got 2 episodes in, and I think we have to go back into season 2 and try to catch up because I'm not, for some reason, I'm not as attached to it as I was. I definitely, I suggest anyone to watch Ragnarok.
You know,
Anyone that
that is
has,
now the second time Ragnarok has been recommended to me. As a result, I have no choice but to watch it. I have to check it out. Because one of my coworkers, like he really, I'm not gonna say he hyped it up, but he was really interested in me watching it and was like, I can't wait to hear what you think about it. You got to check it out. And I was like, okay, I'll add it to the list. I got a list a mile long of stuff that I want to watch. You know what I'm saying? But Ragnarok is on Netflix, correct?
yeah, it's on Netflix.
Okay, and that one, like I said, I've seen the trailer for it. Is that a Swedish film?
Yeah,
I know that like when I watch the trailer, I know the trailer is dubbed.
yeah, it's dubbed.
So no,
So
Norwegian. I think it's a Norwegian film.
Norwegian, and everything is in the language of that country, but it does have the dubs, and the dubs. I'm sorry, it has the subs, and the sub is good.
Okay. I
I
mean, well,
watched
typically with
sub
sub,
only
you
because
can choose the language you want to see it subbed in. So
yeah, like I would much rather it be subbed, only because I'm an anime guy, so that's just how I watch things that aren't of English language.
I get you. I get
Mhm.
you. That's kind of what I've just been used to doing. So I get it.
Yeah,
Um,
enough. The only other show that was on Netflix, that was only on Netflix that I was that like obsessed, and I mean obsessed with, was Vincenzo.
the who?
Mm, Vincenzo. Yep, Vincenzo. It's a Korean drama. Came out in 21. And it was like, God, I don't even know how many episodes it was, but each episode is like almost is 85 minutes long.
All right, bro. I hit you
Later,
tomorrow.
Dave. So each episode was 85 minutes.
Brad
Here.
Celeste says hello.
It's the last
Said hey
20
Celeste.
episodes.
We'll clip that out so you can see that. That'll be a highlight moment.
So Vincenzo was a 20 episode show. It was a Korean drama about a guy who Korean adopted into an Italian family.
Ooh.
Okay.
Okay.
He is raised Italian. And you know what I mean by Italian.
Yeah.
He's in the mafia. He does all the stuff that the mafia does in Italy. But at one point he comes back to Korea, right? Take care of his mom or something like that, or something to that nature. And while he's there, he is trying to get this amount of riches that were stored and stashed in Korea with him for him,
Okay.
or for one of the mob bosses that kind of took over his family. But watch the very first opening scene of Vincenzo, and that's all it took to get me addicted.
All right.
That's all it took. Because after that, he spoke, because they spoke in Italian, they spoke in Korean. They didn't not there. I don't think there was any, if much, English that was spoken. But like that was one that so IMDb has it rated as an 8.4 out of 10. And I would audience rating summary is a 4.9 out of 5 with almost 19,000 ratings.
Okay.
So
Speaks to it.
any
Speaks to it.
if anyone is if you like Korean drama, you're gonna love it.
See, that's the funny thing. I don't know that I do or don't. I imagine I would. I like good shows. I like television, etc. You know what I'm saying? So it would just seem logical that I would like it, but I wouldn't inherently just be like, "Oh, it's a Korean drama. Well, I have to watch it." But yeah, Ragnarok is in my list. That's actually been in my list for a while. And you know, what was the last thing I watched on Netflix? You know what? I think the last thing I watched on Netflix that was something different was that Queen of Hearts with Gal Gadot. It's like Gal Gadot spy thriller movie kind of thing, and
With
it
the
was
chess.
like not at all. Heart of Stone was the name of it, and
Oh, Heart of Stone.
let me tell you something. I talked so much shit about this movie before I watched it. I was like, bruh, okay, I get it. It's Gal Gadot. They're banking on the idea of being able to sell it because it's Gal Gadot. You know what I'm saying? And
Heart of Stone.
the
Yeah.
funny thing is, it was actually pretty damn good. You know what I'm
God.
saying? And it was like, I almost didn't want it to be as good as it was because I wanted to like talk more shit about it. Just as far as it like not being believable or, oh, nobody's gonna fall for the, it's like, admittedly, when I see Gal Gadot, of course, yes, I see Wonder Woman because she's played Wonder Woman in all the live action movies. I've had my issues with her as Wonder Woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, because she's a very pretty model, she's tall, she's thin, and does not give me Wonder Woman vibes. Like, I don't look at Gal Gadot and think she can beat my ass.
Look at Linda Carter.
I did not look at Linda Carter and think that she could beat my ass. You get in like 4 or 5 seasons and you're like, yeah, she could probably beat my ass.
Well, you even see that when she was in Fast and the Furious. You saw how she had that strength to her.
Well, yeah, I mean, like as the character Giselle, and don't get me wrong, like you take somebody like Gal Gadot, Jordana Brewster, you know what I'm saying? These people that they put on screen to look pretty, but they're actually pretty tough also. I get it, you know what I'm saying? Like we get those kind of characters all the time. That's nothing new. And I think it's great in cinema. Like it has its place in cinema, but I also like characters like the Michelle Rodriguez, who just always looks like a badass. You know what I'm saying? Like the one who's going to walk up and throw the first punch. I like that chick also. You know what I'm saying? And it's not to say that every female action has to be like all hard, but it's like if it comes down to it, if you have the option to give me a okay, you know what? Let's use something that everybody understands. In Marvel, do you want Black Widow or do you want Yelena Belova? You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's win-win, but it's like, what does she say? You're a poser. You're such a poser. You know what I'm saying? It's like, go in, do the job, get out. You know what I'm saying? You like get to do all this like superhero landing with the arm up and stuff. And she's like, she did it one time to see. She's like, I can't do this. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, when I see someone like a Gal Gadot in an action role like this, the first thing that comes to mind is like, okay, they put her up there to be a pretty face. Are they going to have her like outsmart everybody? She's the brains of the operation. Blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, okay, so she's got to have a fight scene. Okay, she's pretty good with the gun. But the way they kind of the way they went about telling this story I was like, I would watch a sequel to this. I would watch a series of these movies because she is establishing a character, much the way the first time somebody watched a James Bond movie, or the first time you watched a this movie had the potential. I think if it weren't for the storyline, specifically the storyline, this movie had the potential to set Gal Gadot up to have a character like a James Bond or an Ethan Hunt or a Jason Bourne, where we could follow this character through a series of adventures. And I don't say lightly that I was quite impressed with Gal Gadot's performance in this action scene, in this action movie. It has all of the elements that she has moments where she's like playing it off like she's not the badass. Then it has moments where she's leaning into it, understanding she is the badass. She shows the vulnerability that you would expect for this kind of character, but then she wipes her eyes and does what she has to do in the next scene, like you expect for this kind of character. You know what I'm saying? They didn't play it off like she's just, because she's pretty, she just has to fall for the prince or some bullshit like that. They let her be the action hero. And it was phenomenal. And I don't know. I was quite shocked. And like I said, I have to, very impressed. But it's like I like female action heroes. You know what I'm saying? I like Kate and Gunpowder Milkshake. Well, there's one with Jennifer Lopez where she's supposed to like be saving her daughter and whatnot. And Old Guard, I like that one. There's a lot of them over time. I like Salt. You know what I'm saying? But see, my problem with Salt was one of those movies where it was like
Black Swan.
Black Swan isn't quite an action. I don't know.
Is that the one I'm thinking of, where she was a ballerina and then she went to KGB agent? Was that Black Swan? I probably have my names mixed up. Hang on.
No. Red Sparrow.
Red Sparrow.
Red Sparrow. I'm with you. I had to think about it.
Look, I knew it involved a color and a bird. Okay, give me a break.
I'm not mad at that. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's like those are the types of things that catch my eye, and I'm always intrigued to see those, and I'm gonna immediately like move towards those types of series or those types of shows. You can almost guarantee I'm gonna see that. I do have to check out the new Castlevania. I've watched all the other Castlevanias, and they've been great. This one is Netflix also. Castlevania, the first. How many seasons of Castlevania? I think there were
three.
Three seasons. Now, is this the third season, or?
I think this is their third season. Castlevania. I'm pretty sure it's Nocturna.
There were 4 seasons of Castlevania, and this last one, this newest one, is a separate series technically. Therefore,
oh wow, I didn't know that. Lance Reddick played the captain. He voiced the captain in Castlevania.
Oh, you could absolutely hear that. Hear that. But yeah, the
Bill Nye, Graham McTavish,
season
all of these. I could hear their voices in this thing now.
Yeah, all of these. Season 1 was the smallest, as it was only 4 episodes for season 1. Season 2 was 8 episodes, and it got a little bit more into it. Seasons 3 like really popped off and like really got into the show. Season 4 wraps it up with a nice little bow. The last 2 seasons are 10 episodes each. So yeah, I do need to check out this newest Castlevania, just to see what it is. From what I understand, though, this is like in the future
I haven't seen
because
this one.
it is. So the characters who I don't know, like if you haven't seen the other ones, I don't want to say too much because I don't want to potentially spoil anything. But this looks like this person who's in this show, he is also a Belmont, which means he would have to be further down the lineage in the Belmont family. Because the Belmonts are like huge family of vampire hunters and whatnot. Think of the Belmonts as the not Helsings. Van
Helsing's.
Val Helsing. Okay, yeah. Like that would kind of be who they are. And they have been around for some time. That's what they do. They take on these vampires and all the things that go bump in the night. And there's so many different Belmonts who have like staked their claim and set their legacy up. And there it is. Ooh, you know what I did watch recently? One Piece. I watched all the episodes of One Piece.
The live action?
Mm-hmm.
Look, so anybody that has watched One Piece, if you watched it from the beginning, this is a live action carbon copy. I felt like it followed the anime almost to a T. Now, don't get me wrong. Some of it is a little outlandish for it to be a live action, but 90%, 95, if not more, was on spot, on cue. Perfect.
Well, here's the funny thing. So I got 2 boys, and my eldest son, he's watching through the actual anime One Piece. He's in the 700s, 800s in episodes. It's ridiculous. And I've literally kind of like in the background watched him go through these episodes, and it's quite impressive. He's dedicated. He's going to do it. And he would like come home, sit out on the back, or he'd be in the kitchen, and he'd watch 3-4 episodes at a time, and he'd sit out in the back, hang out with the friends, and they would have it on in the background. The same way, like now, in fairness, when you got to watch 800 episodes of something, maybe you don't sit and stare at the TV for all 800 episodes. Sometimes that shit is just on and you're there.
Yeah.
But it was also like you could kind of tell that he knows the full story. He's caught on to all the details and probably has like the filler list to know when he can like not really pay attention, but still get credit for watching. I had him sit down and kind of go through it with me. The 8 episodes in season 1 of One Piece cover like the first 95 episodes of the anime.
The first season. Yeah, pretty much.
Being able to get through like 95 episodes of anime in an 8 series, mind you, everything was, let's see, 64 minutes, 55. So we'll say roughly everything is 1 hour. In 8 hours, they got through 90 episodes. Even the math on that. 90 episodes at 22 minutes an episode. If you were able to skip recap, you're probably talking like what? 16 minutes?
Okay. Let's do this. 16 times 90.
You know what I'm saying?
1,440 minutes.
And they did that in, you know what I'm saying? Like, so
8
it's
hours.
like literally
3 episodes of, it's 3 episodes. No, it's got to be more than that.
Of what?
8 hours, 24 hours.
That'd be 480 minutes. 480 minutes. They were able to shrink down. We said what? 16 minutes at 90 episodes. That's four. They were able to cut out 1,000 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You talk about just the damn cliff notes. They caught all of the major events, all of the key elements. You know what? If you know, you know. This was like Team 4-Star did One Piece.
Yeah. Yep.
It was like they told the right jokes, they picked on the right stuff, they showed us the things that mattered, the stuff that was relevant. Every character's backstory was explained appropriately and adequately, and it didn't feel like they spent too much time on anything. I know everybody who's part of the Straw Hat Gang, what their motivations are, what their dreams are, and the fact that Luffy is not a real pirate because all he cares about is fulfilling people's damn dream. But to him, that apparently is what being a pirate is, fulfilling people's dreams. And I gotta say, this is gonna sound crazy.
I really do.
Wait, this is actually gonna sound crazy. Luffy was the worst casted person, and he was perfect.
Actually,
every other person was cast so much better for their individual characters.
Well, I can't think. Who would you have casted for Luffy off the top of your head right now?
Well, that's the thing. Nobody.
You couldn't. So he probably is the very best candidate for Luffy.
Now, having said that, the guy they got for Sanji, I thought he was great as Sanji. I thought he was better as Sanji than the other guy was for Luffy. The guy that they got for Zoro. Like, I feel more connected.
Zoro's such a monster.
I feel more connected with the Straw Hat Pirates than I do with Luffy. I know that sounds weird, but it's like Nami, Zoro, and Sanji, and even Arlong.
Usopp?
Not Usopp. You know what I'm saying? Usopp. Like
Usopp.
I felt more connected to them as characters than I did as Luffy. And I feel like it's kind of unfair, but it feels like the writing in the show doesn't lend for Luffy to do anything other than just be happy. And you know what I'm saying? Like
how much of the anime have you watched?
More episodes than I would think. So don't get me wrong. I get what they did. And in fairness, that's what it is.
That's it. That's what it is.
That's what it is. But it's like when you see that live action, it's like, come on, bro. Come on. Like, you know what I'm saying? This you don't have to stick so closely. They could have given the kid Luffy was better than adult Luffy or like young adult Luffy. You know what I'm saying? Because kid Luffy had motivations. He had lines. The stuff he said had impact. Adult Luffy sounded like a broken record. You get what I'm saying?
So, yes, I do. Sounded almost like it was too much acting and not enough real life.
Everybody else.
He was trying too hard.
It didn't matter what line he delivered. He was going to deliver it like Luffy with a smile. Every time he said something, it came out like Luffy with a smile. That is why I say this was Team 4-Star does One Piece.
So in all reality, there was a scene where he was mad as hell at Pops. And you just saw the anger and frustration in the character. And that was the one time where whatever he said, it didn't sound like he was happy. It sounded like he was legitimately upset about it. But at the same time, it just didn't. It didn't sit. Looks, they casted Luffy perfectly.
Yes.
Acting skill, I think they could have done better somewhere.
And I'll go as far as to say that I don't think that they did bad. I want to be clear about that. I don't think that
Absolutely.
they did bad. I think
No.
my exact words were Luffy is the worst cast perfect person, and he's perfect. Everybody else
Yeah.
nailed their roles.
Hmm.
And it almost feels like when it came to Luffy, because he's such a quirky character to try to write for, he doesn't have like, and this is gonna piss off the fanboys, I know, and I don't care. He has main character syndrome.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
people who have main character syndrome are like Luffy or Goku or Superman. But you could take somebody like a Naruto. Naruto doesn't actually have main character syndrome. You know what I'm saying? He's one of the rare ones. Deku from My Hero. Asta from Black Clover. They're getting better about writing main characters out of main character syndrome. But at the time, Luffy, because Luffy been on TV for a long fucking time. He an old head character at this point. You know what I'm saying? It's like you have those characters that are so one-dimensional.
Mhm.
To have them do anything else makes it out of character for them. You know what I'm saying? And it's like that's why people like Injustice Superman. Because given that he's just the big blue Boy Scout, he's the goody two shoes, the do-gooder, he's boring as hell. But Injustice Superman might kill your ass. You know what I'm saying? It's like because it's so out of character for who he is, people gravitate towards that because it's something new, something different. Most of the best stories for Superman are the Elseworld tales, the one-off, the non-canon stories. Kingdom Come, All-Star Superman, Superman Earth 1, Secret Identity. The Infinite Crisis stories are like right up there, but he's just a character, not the main character. But you get into like Superman for Tomorrow, like all of these stories that are written outside of what would be considered the DC canon, those are his best stories because it's somebody else taking a stab at the character and not limiting him, not making him be limited to good guy, strong man, punch hard. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of where they stop with him. We haven't seen a major character arc growth from Goku since the Saiyan saga. That's the last time Goku really did some important shit for a relative reason. Don't get me wrong. Fighting bad guys and not letting the planet be destroyed, all that's great. But he's such a one-dimensional character. Everybody has the same basic jokes about him. He eats a lot, he's really strong, and he loves to fight. Did I just describe Goku or Luffy? You see what I'm saying? So it's like he falls into that realm of being so one-dimensional where his dream, what the hell is Luffy's dream? To be king of the pirates. That's pretty goddamn vague. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's pretty vague. He's going to find the One Piece and become king of the pirates.
Well, that's kind of the entire purpose of the One Piece. Was that the person who found the One Piece is going to be the king of the pirates.
I get that. But you are chasing I'm not going to say the unattainable dream, but bruh, your dream is like not realistic compared to your companions who have like a tangible dream that can be achieved. Okay, you know what? We are damn near 1,000 episodes in on One Piece, and he ain't found that shit yet.
It was supposed. So you have to understand, to find the One Piece, we don't at the beginning. We
I
had
need
no idea
everybody
what it
who's
looked like.
listening to see my face right now as he tries to explain this, and I give him the face of discontent. Like, go ahead, I'm
Listen,
listening.
whoa.
Uh huh.
Hang on. We don't know what One Piece looks like.
Okay.
Okay. So that means that you can have an unlimited art of whatever you wanted to do with this anime now. The purpose was not to ever have him find the One Piece. The purpose was to create a show that was never ending.
That
Tell me I'm lying.
sounds
Because
fantastic.
It's still going.
No,
it's still going.
Like, I am with you. I am on board 100%. And I think having the open-ended adventure is fantastic. I sincerely do. I'm not saying that to be facetious. I really think that that is a fantastic concept. But there has been no payoff.
So the manga started in 97.
One Piece is
15
older than my damn kids. Okay.
16 years old.
I got adult
16
children.
years old.
No.
Oh, that's 26.
26 years old.
26 years old. Look, that's how old. That's how you can tell that I'm fucking old. Because I think 97 was goddamn 15 years ago. Look, I'm just saying. My son, Gavin, 21 years old, in the Army, still has an addiction to Dragon Ball Z and Star Wars. Why? He was raised by a geek. 1. 2, these things are shows that he should have never ever seen. But this is what he's interested in. And they are all older than he is.
Now,
Like leaps and
One Piece as a concept is timeless. So I have no issue with the longevity of the show, nothing like that. But at the end of the day, all it really comes down to is, and again, this is not a direct attack on the One Piece fans. This is just an anime perspective from a like, I am not the expert in anime. I'm gonna have to get David on here later to like come at me and correct me. And feel free after this statement, if you can find it in your heart to correct me and tell me I'm wrong, by all means. This is the clip. I'm gonna say it right now. Okay, this is the moment that's getting clipped and being shared. There is nothing wrong with the concept of One Piece as an ideal, and chasing after the One Piece is basically following your dreams. But as we are like damn near at 1,000 episodes, my man should have found something that represented finding it, because otherwise, all you're telling people is that you can chase after your dreams, but you would never attain that shit, which is not the message they want to send. Meanwhile, you have characters like Zoro, Nami, like everybody else has had some level of growth. Yeah, sure. We got Gear 5 from Luffy, but it came as a result every time Luffy powers up is because he has to protect his friends, protect his family. Yeah. Bruh, we get it. You dope. You that dude. You strong. That is anime 101. That is how shonen works.
Yes.
There's nothing special about Luffy as a character because of this. He is just following shonen tropes. And my problem with this live action version is that kid, unfortunately, got pigeon-toed. If he was able to do a good job with like them 10 lines he had to say, I would love to go back and do a game. You know what? That's a challenge. We're going to go back and we're going to rewatch One Piece. And we're going to do a drinking challenge. Every time Luffy says the word dream. My dream, your dream, dream.
Wait. Hang on. I'm going to write this down. One Piece live action?
One Piece live action.
Live action. Hang
We
on.
would
I'm
have
writing this
alcohol
down.
poisoning if we did it on the anime.
Okay. One drink every time he says dream.
Every time he says dream.
Okay. Whether it be a plural, talking about someone else's or his own. One drink.
Correct.
Okay. So
to double the stakes and give us that alcohol poisoning, King of the
drinks.
Pirates. King of the Pirates.
Every time he says King of the Pirates, or every time King of the Pirates is mentioned?
Every time Luffy says King of the Pirates. I'll keep it.
Luffy.
I'll keep it simple. And only Luffy. He was limited to about 20 lines the entire movie. And it all revolved around dreams, King of the Pirates. I'm not even going to throw friends in there because Luffy made friends with every fucking body he meets.
Yeah. And if he didn't, he beat the shit out of him. Luffy
So-
was a bully.
So, you know what I'm saying? It's like everybody
All right.
else, I think, was better cast for their characters. Nami was perfect. Like what little I know about and I'm not, and I sit here and I profess not to be an expert on the show. But what episodes I have seen, and that's the beauty of it. I've seen such random episodes of the show. Most of the episodes that I've seen, I walked in as my son was watching, and I just walked in randomly. I didn't even see Luffy in the episode. That's how far they've evolved. The show is still called One Piece. It's not even about Luffy anymore. You know what I'm saying? The show is about any one of the Straw Hat Pirates. And that to me is phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's like we just had a Dragon Ball movie where Gohan and Piccolo were the main characters.
Are you talking about the one from like 15 years ago?
No, I'm talking about the one not too long ago. The
What? Wait, where did I miss this? How did I miss this shit? Hang on.
wait a minute.
What's it
This
called?
was where's my phone? Piccolo's latest transformation.
This is a
Piccolo's
movie,
latest
right?
transformation.
What?
Okay, this was
This
Dragon Ball
this
Super
was a,
Superhero. Dragon Ball Super Superhero.
I don't even see this. Oh, superhero. Okay. All right, I see now. Okay.
Dragon Ball Super Superhero came out 2022.
Oh no. Okay. So I've seen some scenes to this.
Right. I've seen scenes from it.
Oh yeah.
But the point is, when you look at the cast, when you look at the listing, you know what I'm saying? It's like this movie is based on Gohan. This is not a Goku movie. You see what I'm saying? And it's like when people think Dragon Ball Z is synonymous with Goku.
I don't even see like Goku's name is not even in the top of the cast.
Like he's in the movie, but it's not his movie. That is my point.
Hmm.
Dragon Ball has evolved beyond Goku. You could do, and it's like you don't even have to like put a colon at the end and say Dragon Ball Super colon Vegeta's Tales. You know what I'm saying? You could just call it Dragon Ball Z and do a whole episode just about Vegeta. And people would still call it Dragon Ball Z. They would still call it Dragon Ball. You know what I'm saying?
It
Because
doesn't matter. It's always gonna be Dragon Ball.
it's evolved beyond its main character.
Mm-hmm.
But if you take something like, and see, and that's the thing. Notice that Dragon Ball isn't called Goku. One Piece isn't called Luffy.
Mm-hmm.
Naruto is called Naruto. You take Naruto out of that shit, the fuck story are we telling?
It's no longer Naruto. Okay, all right. No, I see where you're saying. I see where you're coming from. I understand that. I see that. And I think you're right. The evolution that the anime has started to make, where it's going away from having the one main character, unless the anime is directly
Tied to the story of that main character.
right. Like you said, Naruto is based off of Naruto. Boruto is based off of his son, right? Dragon Ball, One Piece, they're separate. Castlevania, you have your main characters in there, but it's not, you're not following the one character.
It doesn't just have to be about this person. And that's honestly where the other stories, where a lot of the other anime gets to shine these days, because you have My Hero Academia, where you can focus on other people and it stays absolutely true to the series. It doesn't deviate. You're not, it's not filler, because I really feel like a lot of the new anime has no filler. All the new shit that's out, Jujutsu Kaisen, ain't no filler in that.
No.
My Hero Academia,
Dragon, even Demon Slayer.
Demon Slayer, ain't no filler in that. They just, like, every episode, it has a point.
Yeah, it's either telling a backstory to either a main character or a backstory to the villain, but at the same time, it's only a small snippet of that episode.
It's still relevant, and it's usually relevant to the action, because it'll be some key element to helping defeat this villain when you understand who they are and why they are the way. You know what I'm saying? Like when Tanjiro fought Rui, you know what I'm saying? We had to listen to that little bit where he talks about how his family all got murdered and all he wants is a damn family. So when he finally got his demon powers, he turns and he makes a whole family. He's the head of set. It's like you get that insight, but that insight is relevant to the current story. But even think about it. If we did a whole story right now in Demon Slayer, matter of fact, the Swordsmith
Arc.
Yeah.
The
Swordsmith Village arc.
Yeah.
Sword Village arc. Tanjiro, per usual, would get his ass beat the whole episode. I mean, the whole season. I love it. I love that they are not making these new characters OP like that. I mean, they had a moments and they do some shit, but these boys take them L's. And I love it because, mind you, my favorite character is Superman, who very rarely gets to take that L, but when he does, it's like a big deal, and people live for that. I don't need my heroes to be flawed like that. They're heroes. I want them to be fucking perfect. You know what I'm saying? Or if they're not going to be perfect and infallible, I want them to have an opportunity to grow. And when I watch My Hero, I have an opportunity to watch Deku grow. I've watched him go from being a literal nobody to that dude. He is him. He is him. And I love it. As he learns to master, I mean, he's gone leaps and bounds beyond what All Might did with the same power, same opportunity, same power. He's unlocked things that All Might couldn't do. All Might was just another good guy, great hair, big man, punch hard. You know what I'm saying? It's all he was. Matter of fact, look at it. All Might, that's my dude. Superman, that's my dude. Master Chief, that's my dude. Fucking Captain America, that's my dude. I have a thing for characters who are just like that archetype character, that ultimate good guy, always do good regardless. Hero syndrome type shit. So I love a character like a Deku coming in and not being that great. I love a character like Tanjiro coming in and taking 6 months before he can cut the rock. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But if we did a whole episode on, Zenitsu, it would be fine. And it would be a great episode. And we're not getting away from the show because it's about Demon Slayer. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't even have to just be a backstory. And it wouldn't even have to be filler. What's the other one that wears the pig's head? Like if you did a whole episode, if you did 2 or 3 episodes, where Tanjiro and Nezuko are like, Tanjiro was in the hospital. He like damn near died, as he always does, and he's being healed. Nezuko's in her box. She ain't coming out because Tanjiro's asleep. You know what I'm saying? And so we got to have it starts with an I. I can't think of it.
I know. I'm thinking.
But if you have Zenitsu and
And Nosuke.
Inosuke, if you have Zenitsu and
I forget that.
Inosuke, run the series for 2, 3, 4 episodes. Ain't nobody gonna be like, man, this ain't what I'm trying to watch. Where Tanjiro at? No, because we're invested in those characters because they're part of the Demon Slayer story. You have main characters, and now your supporting characters are just as important. And to me, that's advancement. That's advancement because we saw little bits of it with when we followed Sasuke. They didn't call it like an arc with Sasuke. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like a whole arc. They're realizing how to like break this down and separate it and make it make sense. Because My Hero has the villains arc, the exams arc, the school trials. Like they're breaking up the segments and letting you know beginning, middle, end, right? And they're telling these stories a little bit different. When you get to Demon Slayer, they have these specific arcs, the entertainment arc, the Swordsmith Village arc, the Mugen Train arc. They're beginning, middle, end. And they're giving you this very enveloped story. So if we did a whole arc that was just Inosuke and Zenitsu, that would just be an arc. And it would be a part of the main story. And it wouldn't take away from anything if we didn't have as much Tanjiro. If Nezuko and Tanjiro sat and chilled for a little while.
Now, don't get me upset. Don't get me wrong. And you're going to be upset about this. But everybody would be asking, where's Tanjiro? Where's Nezuko? Because, yes, they are the kind of the main characters.
Absolutely still the main character.
Everyone would want to know where they are. But like, if you win an entire season without them, I'm going to tell you right now that you would lose quite a few people. I'm not going to say you're going to lose half. I'm not going to say you're going to lose.
But here's the thing: you wouldn't even have to go an entire season. You wouldn't have to go a season without them. Not a season without them. Mind you, what did I do? I already put Tanjiro ass in the hospital. Right at the beginning, I said, what happens? Tanjiro got his ass beat. He damn near died, like he always does. And during his recovery, we're following Inosuke and Zenitsu. And if you really want to like tie it in, have them go after the demon that almost killed him. Now you make it relevant for it to be the filler where they're going back because that's their friend, because it's the fucking power of friendship, man. It's anime. Shonen anime is all based on the power of friendship. So as long as I am coming out to vindicate my friend, you cannot beat me. And that's how you do it. That's how you do it. Absolutely. That's how it would work. And that's what would make it, keep it interesting, keep it relevant. They send Crows back to check on Tanjiro's advancement. About mid-season, Tanjiro wakes up. See, you got to have him wake up early enough to be important. Don't have him wake up like second before the last episode or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Have him wake up at a decent time. Have him wake up mid-season. And then he wakes up and he's not fully recovered. He's just not dead. You know what I'm saying? And he tries to get his strength back, just like they did at the beginning of the Swordsmith Village arc. What did he do? He spent that time retraining, getting his strength back, walking around, eating, sleeping, getting strong. Then he starts to go to the Swordsmith Village arc. And right when he starts to go to the Swordsmith Village. And then right when that happens, the guy that makes his swords attacks him and is like, stop breaking my fucking swords. And you know what I'm saying? Then the demons show up and they're like, we got to like wipe these folks out. And like, it was an amazing fucking season. And you know what? I was actually disappointed. Whole season. Now we have a new Hashira and we had no Zenitsu and no Inosuke. Okay. You can do that because Tanjiro's our main character. This series follows Tanjiro. Fully aware of that.
Yep.
But
that's what it started with. Because we know a little bit of the backstory of Zenitsu and Inosuke, but we didn't follow it it wasn't as dominant
It
or
wasn't
as
as dominant.
prominent
We
as
know exactly what Tanjiro's
Tanjiro.
motivations are.
hmm
And we know exactly why he is doing what he's doing. There is nothing wrong with his motivations. I think they're admirable. And for a shonen anime, I think they are very clear and concise. Naruto, one day I will be Hokage.
Yeah. Yeah. King of the Pirates. But
We actually saw
It's
Naruto
not-
become Hokage.
it's not going to take him 26 years to become Hokage.
We actually saw Naruto become Hokage.
yes.
You know what I'm saying? And that's why I say all I need is a payoff, man. All I need is a payoff. And if he wanted to continue, if Luffy wants to keep doing what he does out there in the world, if he wants to be a pirate superhero, because that's really all the fuck he is, be the best pirate superhero you can be. But let this man find the damn One Piece already and realize that, you know what, the One Piece was inside us all along. I don't care what corny shit you do. Let it be the power. You know what? He's going to open it up and it's going to be a fucking mirror. And you had the One Piece all along. Like, you know, some shit like that. Like, if what is it? Not Jolly. Is it Jolly Roger? Is that the guy who, if Jolly Roger was like so twisted that he was like, do what thou willst. For those of you, if you know, you know. If he was out there yelling, do what thou willst, and was like, be free, be fam, you know, free ass motherfucker, do what you want to do. Don't let nobody tell you what you can and can't do. Don't be limited by society's expectations and objectives and da 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 da. And he said, I hid the secret in a chest. Because he says, and correct me if I'm wrong, he says, I took all of my treasures and I put it all together in one piece. If you hear that, your ass should be looking for like a 10-foot golden cross that's solid gold. Instead, they're looking for a chest. So what was all the culmination of his treasure? It was a damn mirror where he looked at himself and said, you know what? I am that dude. If you can find this chest, you must also be that dude.
Dude.
You know what I'm saying? That's what it's going to end up being. And
That is
fuck
corny
them
as
for
shit.
making
I
us
love
watch
it.
1,000 episodes to find a fucking
Yeah,
mirror.
Yeah.
You know what? Just what is the date? I called it October 11, 23. One Piece is a fucking mirror. I mean, it would
That-
work because if
that-
you're the dude who could actually find it, clearly you are that dude. You are the
That
guy.
would be the most satisfying and depressing thing ever. Just
Oh,
saying.
it would be 100. Do you know how viral this shit would go if I was right and it was just a mirror?
God damn it.
Look,
Man.
We will all be
Feel
eating
it.
off of that. So, yeah, man. I was very happy. All in all, though, I will say I was very happy with the series. And the guy that played the live action Luffy, he was just as corny and silly as Luffy is in the anime. And he brought that character to life. All his gum powers and his devil fruit abilities, they looked good on screen. I could tell that he was mad when he was mad, and he was generally a happy-go-lucky kind of person. Seems a lot like Luffy from the anime. He nailed it. 100% nailed it. That is Luffy. He did a great job. The character of Luffy just doesn't have much to work with. You know what I'm saying?
No.
And that's the problem. Everybody else had some depth, some range. You know, Nami being the thief, Zoro being a swordsman who chases and attacks and kills pirates, but becomes part of a pirate crew. Like, in itself, that description is intriguing and shows growth. I do need to know more about Sanji and his fighting ability. Like, why is he such a good fighter?
You
I'm sure at some point they
didn't
get
show
to
it.
that.
They didn't show it in this.
No, because what they showed was he was on the rock with Zeph.
Yeah.
They survived and managed not to die. They get rescued, and then they just show him working in Zeph's kitchen. At no point do they break down where his skill and ability.
Yeah, that's gotta come in the next season. It's
Yeah.
gonna come in the next season.
I mean, like I said,
I mean, especially if they're rolling through 90 episodes a season.
it is like, and you know what? They did like a 10-minute backstory. Actually, it might have been more than 10 minutes. I feel like it was probably about a solid 10 minutes backstory on Zorro, where we see the girl that he made the promise to when he took the blade.
Mhm.
They did a solid 10-minute backstory on Nami when we show her mother adopting her and her sister and protecting her from Arlong. And then we went on a little bit longer or a little bit more to see her like becoming part of Arlong's crew and having the shark tattoo. I mean, they really covered all of the other characters.
Mhm.
And it's crazy because I feel like as much time as we got from Luffy's character, bruh has been saying the same thing since day one. And I've seen nothing in what he does has changed. Whereas we see everybody else change a little bit. And that's where the difference comes in. You know what I'm saying? Like, ultimately, when it's all said and done, Nami's been trying to collect this money so she had her stash to buy the freedom of the village from Arlong.
Yep.
We get why she is willing to do what she has to do to get that money. But we also see her go from being a cold-hardened criminal to someone who opens up and begins to care a little bit about other people. And she realizes that the Straw Hat Pirate Gang actually are her friends. And so maybe she will, hang out with them and be their friends and that sort of thing. Cool. We get that growth. We get that character development. You know what I'm saying? It's there. It's evident. Zorro wanted to be the greatest swordsman in the world. He and this girl decide that they're going to train it every day. The girl dies off screen inexplicably, and we don't know why, but okay, the girl dies. Now he has nobody to train with, but he decides that he wants to take her sword and honor the commitment and the promise they made. He's going to keep training. Gets his ass handed to him by a dagger and realizes, like, okay, I need to go about this a different way. And I love the fact that they went to him just using the one sword after the other swords got broken. A little bit of continuity there. Like, he didn't just suddenly reappear with random ass swords. I like that. Because I know that, and that's only because I've seen the episode where he buys new swords. I've seen the episode of One Piece where he buys new swords, and it's a big deal. So, like, that's the type of stuff that I'm saying as far as the live action, like really paying attention and catching the key points. That's a key point. But we see him like come to understand that there are people in this world that he can trust and he can rely on. When he and Sanji are fighting back to back and, defending Luffy and Nami, and, they go and they fight for Nami, like that's something that he wouldn't have done. And to see him do that, it's like, okay, there's character growth. Everybody had that character growth except for Luffy. And it's only because Luffy's character is just not written for it. He wants the same thing he's wanted since day one, to become king of the pirates.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to say that that's setting the bar low, but I feel like they set the bar so high as to make it unattainable that he can always have something to write. Because I mean, like, all you got to do is constantly just write in new pirates who are bigger, faster, stronger. Every time he defeats the next person in line, you just write in a new pirate. It becomes a creature of the week kind of thing. And that's your new arc every time. This pirate, like you defeated everybody. Okay, you defeat Arlong. Who's next? So you defeated Buggy. Forget the lady pirate at the beginning, but you defeated her. You defeated Buggy. Now you defeated Arlong. And then from there, you just keep upping the captains until you get to a captain that you can't beat. You spend 2 seasons on that. Give him the extra growth that he needs, which really won't even be growth. It'll just be a power up. That's where you get our Gear 3 and Gear 4. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like you just make the character stronger. Because I mean, that's the same thing Dragon Ball Z has done. Goku has not had a relevant character arc since the Saiyan saga.
Yeah.
But he's gotten stronger. He keeps leveling up, but he hasn't improved as a person. In fairness, though, he is dead. So,
I mean, he dies a lot.
right. Well, dead people don't upgrade. So that could, maybe that's what it is. And we'll just call it to that.
So let's talk about what you got on your shirt there.
Black Clover? Yeah, man.
Oh,
I'm on like episode 85 of Black Clover. I wanted to watch the movie, and when I watched the trailer for the movie, I saw something in the trailer that I haven't seen on the show. So I was like, well, I don't know what that is. I have to at least watch to where I know what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
I have gotten to that point. We still have spoiler warning up. So I didn't know about like the black tattoo art magic stuff that not magic. The demon covering. Because he has no magic. So let's be clear about that. He is a no magic mage. He's a no magic wielding magic knight.
The first time that you see the demon come out, that first time, did you just not go like, oh shit, here it is?
Right. I mean, like the whole little bit with the Witch Queen, I was like, I was all into those episodes. Like everything that was happening at the time, it kind of jumped from like story to story to story. There was like, what was it? 3 simultaneous stories happening. Let's see. You had the one witch who's a black knight or a black bull going back home to fight against her mom. You had that story. You had the teacher trying to find his wife. You had the 2 students who were there to like, they trained under the teacher, but weren't really on his side anymore. All 3 of those stories going on. And then you had Asta and crew trying to, like, why did they go to they were there to recover their squad mate who was basically captured because she was a witch and the Witch Queen wouldn't let her go. All of those stories are happening simultaneously. That's some impressive fucking writing to have like 4 subplots happening at the same time.
And you said what episode are you on right now?
I've just finished the Royal Knight exams. I just saw major spoiler. I just saw Yuno achieve his next form. Wind spirit immersion thing where he has like the one wing and the crown and the little half gauntlet thing. Like I've seen that for the first time. And
have you seen the fairy yet?
Oh yeah, the fairy's like, this is actually the first time he and the fairy merge into one being.
Yes. Okay, I know exactly where you're at. Yep.
He was fighting against the Royal Knight mage that does the painting. and they were trying to defend crystals, and Noel is on his team, and the dude that makes mushrooms is on his team. What is with this? What is with the Jap? Like, why did the Japanese? Why are they so fascinated with mushrooms?
That's a great question. So, I mean,
Because
but you have to think of it like this. You have to think like this. So, if the Japanese, as a society, as a culture, when they're doing anything, whether it be yakiniku, barbecue, Korean barbecue, or they're doing shabu shabu hot pot, or they're doing whatever, if they have vegetables that they're going to be cooking in that,
uh-huh.
it's always going to include two things: cabbage and mushrooms.
Hmm.
Doesn't matter. Like everything else is kind of like, but it's going to have mushrooms and cabbage.
There's a Magic Knight whose whole power resides in him creating mushrooms. And in My Hero Academia, there's a whole student, there's a little girl whose powers are all based on her creating mushrooms.
Let's look at Mario.
There's a whole video game
Based on
that
him
is
eating.
so my question, you know what? I would ask Google, but I feel like that's a inappropriate question to ask Google. I feel like it was an inappropriate question to ask you.
There
but
is no question inappropriate enough to ask Google. But
I am curious though, like legitimately from a cultural standpoint, like what is the connection? But I think you bring a good point. Oh, you know what? Wow, somebody.
Okay.
Whoa. Somebody
Shiitake
else asked this
mushroom.
question. Somebody else asked this question.
Yeah. What is mushroom in Japanese? What is the concept of the mushroom culture? So a lot. So
Why
if
are
you look in
mushrooms so important to the Japanese culture?
so this is the first thing that popped up, and it's on Sakura.co, and it talks about the shiitake mushroom, a rich history rooted in Japanese culture.
Huh.
Significance and unique forest relationships underscore their sustainability.
That's so interesting how Google works. That is the third option. That is the third link down for me. I see that exact same link. It's the third one down. My first
So
one is I have nippon.com. Mushrooms, a staple of the Japanese table. They are valued for
that's
their
my
flavor.
fifth one.
They are valued for their flavor and fragrance, as well as their nutritional properties, which include high concentrations of fiber, vitamin B, and then, of course, it kind of runs out and you have to click on the link. That is crazy.
So the same link on mine, mushrooms, a staple of the Japanese table. It says the word mushroom in Japanese, kinoko, is thought to derive from the tendency of the fleshy fungi to grow on and around trees, ki, and then it kind of fades off. But you're right. That was my number 5. That was my number 5 hit. Now, what I had asked Google is from a cultural standpoint, what is the relationship with Japanese and mushrooms? And the first thing that popped up was that shiitake mushroom.
Interesting. My question, why are mushrooms so important to Japanese culture? Crazy that we both chose Japanese culture as the wording for the question. And not like, why do the Japanese like mushrooms? No, we both knew to put why are mushrooms important to Japanese culture? That is phenomenal.
Okay. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go a little bit further. My number 2 link is from Isha Health, exploring psychedelic substance usage in Japanese tradition, and it talks about using mushrooms.
I have one that's issue.com.
That's it. Isha.health.
Nope, I don't have .help. ISSUU.
No, I have Isha, ISHA.
No, don't have that one at all. Now my
crazy.
Sakura Co. does say shiitake mushrooms, a
Mhm.
rich history rooted in Japanese.
Mhm.
Sansho pepper or Japanese prickly ash is a spice that has played a significant role in Japanese cuisine for centuries. That is the leading title for that. Um, and then it has Japanese. This says Japan experience. Japanese mushrooms. Their health benefits have been proven for a long time. They're low calorie and have a detoxifying effects. They're a source of dietary dot dot dot.
Where is this? What is that under? Is that under the shiitake mushroom one?
No, that is so the shiitake mushroom was number 3. The first one was the
Okay.
one that I read. The second one
Mm.
was that one, and that says Japan Experience. www.japan-experience.com, and it says Japanese mushrooms. And then the third one is the sakurako.com.
So I got my third one is magic mushrooms may have been used in Japan since Jomon times. Magic mushrooms link unconnected brain regions. That's my number 3. 4 is
Okay.
the luminous fungi of Japan. And then after the mushrooms, a staple of Japanese table, it goes into Princeton University Press, Stanford University, Princeton University, Taylor and Francis Online, Journal of Ethnobiology and Ethnomedicine.
Interesting. I have a whole little
Mm.
other thing happening over this way with the fungi and all that kind of stuff. That's why I sound so nasally sometimes. I'm going to have surgery before the year is actually I'm going to have my second surgery before the year is out. Have to have a sinus surgery, acute fungal sinusitis. Absolutely cannot breathe out of this side of my face.
Oh no!
So yeah, I will. I'm hoping to get it. I go to the let's see, on the 31st of the month on Halloween Day. Yay! I go down. I talk with the surgeon. Hopefully, we can get everything scheduled and worked out. I'd really like to have the surgery this year while my deductible is paid, and not get screwed over to having to do it at the beginning of next year. But I will be having a surgery at some point later this year, and it will be to remove all of the mushrooms growing in my brain right now.
So hang on, wait a second.
I'm trying not to become a clicker.
There you go. I was about to get there. I was getting there.
I'm trying not to become a clicker. Right.
I'm the start of the last of us. Got you.
Don't want to be the guy that starts it all. So I'm trying to get rid of that before it's a problem. Can't do that to Ellie and Joel. I like them too much, you know. But yeah, I thought that was very interesting that it seems like there's always a character who does something with mushrooms in anime. Like if there's a power or an ability, somebody can like make mushrooms appear, make mushrooms pop up, blah 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 blah. The mushrooms always talk, which is weird, but you know, that's a thing.
Yeah, because like even in Super Mario, you have Toadie.
Again, the talking mushrooms. So yeah,
talking mushrooms. Yeah, and mushrooms can allow you to fly.
Mushrooms can allow you to do. Let's see. The mushrooms can let you grow big, get an extra life,
grow small, shrink, die.
They can't kill you, especially like Mario Kart. But as far as like the other powers, like you have to get the flower, you have to get the leaf, you have to get, you have to get like the other things to get those other abilities. So the mushrooms don't give you the power of flight. However, if you do take the right mushroom, you would probably think that you could fly.
There it is.
We here at Grown Geeks do not support the use or belief of any mushrooms that will give you the idea that flying is a thing. So please do not try to fly while you are enjoying your mushrooms.
Keep both feet solid on the ground at all times.
Just want to say, and I want to be clear that we don't support the idea of flying. If you want to enjoy your mushrooms, do what you do.
If you want to fly, book an airline, please.
Exactly. Just, don't have a mushroom and then think that flying is a thing. Those two things don't work well together.
No. No, not at all.
So there's some new TV shows I gotta watch. I gotta check out Ragnarok and I gotta check out Castlevania. And I would say check out The Boys, Gen V, because it's not quite The Boys, but it's absolutely The Boys. Like it is still very much The Boys. But
so this is what I got. So you're right, Boys Gen V. I just wrote that one down. Heart of Stone. I want to take a look at that one. You spoke very highly
of it. That's a movie, not a TV show. That's a movie.
Take a look at it. We spoke about it.
Right.
Castlevania. I need to get on Castlevania.
Got to get on Castlevania.
And then the other movie that we spoke about was a Dragon Ball Superhero.
Dragon Ball Superhero. Yep.
There you go. That.
Absolutely. Gonna get that. So I'm going to I'm probably going to start at like episode 90. Actually, I'm going to probably try to start at like episode 100. I'm going to say I'm 100 episodes in on One Piece. And I may start watching One Piece for the hell of it. Maybe I can fit an episode or two in after I watch my episodes of Black Clover. Because, like I said, now that I'm in the 80s on Black Clover. I know a movie recently came out and I didn't want to watch the movie till I had relevance to what was happening. And so technically, now that I know what's happening and where this power is coming from, I could jump over and I could watch the movie and then go back to the series. But I'm so invested in the series now, I'll just finish the series before I watch the movie.
Honestly, finish the series and then watch the movie. Because there are more things in the movie that come up later in the series.
Okay. And I figured there might be, because I was kind of thinking like there has to be some relevance to, like, I need to just figure out where in the timeline the movie falls. But I haven't heard of anybody talk about new Black Clover episodes. Mm-hmm. So I figure like I should just finish the entire series and then watch the movie. Yeah, and it's doable. It's doable.
Something that I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be going through that One Piece live action and taking tallies of.
Yes. Let me know when you decide. Let's see.
King of Pirates.
Let me know when you start. Like, just shoot me a text and tell me the day when you watch episode 1, and we'll do a tally count. And I'll see if my count is the same as your count.
So I'll tell you what. This is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to try to start it either Friday or Saturday. But I'll shoot you a text. I'll let you know. And we're gonna do this together. I will neither confirm nor deny that I'm going to be trying the drinking challenge with this. But we'll see what happens.
And I said the two conditions were every time he says King of the Pirates.
Yep, 2 drinks. So 2 ticks for every King of the Pirates. Every time Luffy says King of the Pirates. And then
whenever he says dream.
Whenever he says dream, that's 1. While I have you on here, give me just 1 second. I need to. So I just finished up my semester with college. This is the first time I've taken a class and almost just read them. Black Clover.
Oh, see, now Rich about to make me get into this whole other topic that I got. I've been holding on to this topic for a minute.
There's so much.
Because when
I just finished. Okay, so I just finished up I just finished up this class. I want to get this out there. My final grade, first college course in over 20 years. I'm aging myself there. First college course was Introduction to Aeronautical Sciences at Embry-Riddle, and I got a 97.8.
Hey.
I'm very happy with that. I'm very happy with that.
That qualifies as an A plus. It's over 95. That's an A plus.
It's an A plus. I got an A plus on that shit. Yeah.
That's damn
Super
near
happy about
perfect.
that. Super happy. Yeah, I goofed up. I goofed up like at the beginning.
That's like literally only missing 1 or 2 questions on the whole thing.
Yeah. Yep. One was a writing assignment. I goofed up some citations, and the other one was I didn't respond to someone's blog. So that, yeah, real stupid stuff, but it's okay. That's good. I'm happy with it. All right. So yeah. Oh yeah, the Magna. Yeah, the MAGA, the manga.
Yeah. So I just have to post this up real quick because Richard said just read them.
Yeah.
Black Clover, One Piece. And reading is a very time-consuming endeavor. Okay. I like to read. Do not get me wrong. I like to read. But reading is one of those things that I typically do when I have time. Even my comics, I read when I have time. If I'm reading a book or reading a comic, that means I don't have anything else to do right then. I'm not rushing through anything. I can watch Black Clover while I'm like making dinner or eating breakfast or something. You know what I'm saying? Like I can usually like multitask with that, especially when I watch it on Funimation because I can watch it English dubbed. And when I have to like fly through an anime, I typically watch English dub because then I don't have to sit there doing nothing, staring at the screen because I have to read everything. So reading a manga is like doing nothing but sitting there staring at the book, reading. I can't do anything else with that. It's going to be completely consuming. So it's always interesting when people talk about like, oh, you're on what just happened in the show? Oh yeah, you're there. Yeah, I read the manga. That real like looking down at me because I wait on the anime because you read the manga bit like that. I'm always curious about that. You know what I'm saying? Like I already have feelings about like,
Wow.
well, you read the manga. Well, excuse the hell out of me. Maybe I wanted to see it.
Sam, you sound really hurt right now. Okay,
just a little triggered, just ever so slightly. But it's
yeah.
but I also have a question, and this is just like a legitimate thing because we're in the age of the geek. You know what I'm saying? And like because we have all of those, we have like 28 movies for the Marvel universe. We have some other movies made by another studio for some other characters. And then we have just like all of the random other things that exist, whether it be animation, live action, the whole nine, you know what I'm saying? But like we're definitely in the age of the geek. And one of the things that I've always really, really wondered is like, when you have a manga and you have anime, in my head, I think of it as comic books and movies. And I know that sometimes, don't laugh at me. I know that sometimes the movie can stray away from the source material a bit of what comics have. And usually when they do that, it is for either limitations for live action. It is because maybe it doesn't fit or make sense for the story. When something is adapted from another medium, there's always something that's lost in translation. You know what I'm saying? I get that part. But I wonder, because it seems like anime tends to stick so much closer to the manga. I would imagine those times where, like, has there ever been an anime first and then the manga comes out? Or is it the case where most anime is based on manga that is already out? It takes a lot longer to animate something and make to make a 30-minute cartoon versus publish a book, one gets done very quickly, one takes a lot longer. I understand that part. But it seems to me that, like, as a fan of someone who reads comics and then loves seeing live action, seeing what I read happen in real time and that realism aspect of, I would feel like that would be the case for people who read manga, but it's not. People who read manga seem to not give two shits about the anime because they read the manga. You know what I'm saying? Whereas if you have somebody that, like, I read Marvel's Civil War, but when Civil War came out, I went and saw that movie, and I love that movie. And it is not the same as watching or as reading Civil War. And because those two things are different, and I don't feel like they're as different with the manga and the anime, I need somebody to weigh in and tell me, like, what the hell? Because y'all gonna stop looking down your nose at me because I wait on the anime and I don't read the manga. I got time to read the damn manga, okay? I got a lot of shit I got to keep up with. I just added 2 new shows to my watch list that is already pretty fucking substantial. When all the new shit comes out, I have to be prepared. I have to watch that and see that and read that and be up on that. We didn't even talk about Ahsoka. I don't need to talk about Ahsoka. Y'all know I love Star Wars. I got a whole fucking wall of Star Wars. So if you want to talk about Ahsoka and the owl and the brother and the father and the sister and all, we can do that. But it won't be tonight. I need to know why I am trash and where's the problem with me watching anime and not reading the manga. It is, what the hell?
I don't.
For me, if I am into the story and the characters, I want to finish the story. I can
get
understand that.
Because I
I get
promise you, I'm on JJK, right? Jujutsu Kaisen. Shit is already being spoiled for me on Jujutsu Kaisen because you got them people that's in the manga and they like, oh, y'all just got to that part? Okay, so Gojo, he just, okay, yeah. I got some bad news for you, dog. And they like fucking up the anime before it even happens. So it's like, I hope
They're
they do something
spoiling.
right.
Stop.
I hope they do
stop
something
leaking
totally
spoilers.
different. I hope they do something totally different with the anime just to get to people who do that because I read the manga. Don't nobody care. Don't nobody care that you read the manga. Okay?
Well, I don't like reading.
Now what?
So I don't like reading. That's the reason why I don't read the manga. I don't like reading.
Do they have an audiobook? I don't have time.
Oh, please.
I don't have time to read anymore. I promise you, that used to be my thing. I love reading. I've read tons of books. My kid's name is Marius Armand. Why? Because I read the entire Vampire Chronicle series, which was an AMC TV series, by the way. We can do this TV show shit all night, dog. There's so much good stuff out there. But yeah, that was actually that was the last thing I watched was Interview with the Vampire on AMC Plus, and it was fantastic. And the way they ended that was just, it was so good. So good. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about anime. We're talking about Jujutsu Kaisen and everybody hating on my boy Gojo. And I get it. You talk about an OP character. Gojo is like out there as far as the OP characters go.
But it didn't start that way.
It didn't. He started off as a really cool, like the whole story is about Yuji. And we're following Yuji and, seeing his adventures. And then we saw some other people. And Fushiguro came in, and he was really cool. What is it, Mezzanine? Yeah, because you have Toji also. And then they did Jujutsu Kaisen 0, and it was like, bro, what is that? And Geto became like that dude. And then we realized that like Geto and Patchwork are in the current series. And wait, what's happening? And then we find out that like Geto ain't Geto, but he is Geto. What the hell is happening there? That's a whole story that we got to figure out. And now what they've done with Gojo and that and Toji, what? And Nanamine Sensei, it's just so much.
I can see your mind just expanding as you try to talk about this.
There's so much going on right now. And it is like
boiling out from your earphones.
I will say that just what I'm dealing with in Jujutsu Kaisen is absolutely what would motivate me to read the manga. Because you can't just have me waiting. You just can't have me sitting here twiddling my thumbs for a week, waiting for Thursday night to find out what's happening. And it's crazy because for the longest time, Thursday night, for some reason, used to be the night that like my wife would be home at a decent time. And you know what I'm saying? Because of how far she works and I would get home from work. And Thursday night would be the time we would sit down and we would watch shows together and this and that. So I would never be able to like watch my stuff by my, like in my time. I would always have to kind of like, that would be our time. So it wouldn't be until Friday. And I got the same coworker that was telling me about Ragnarok. He'd be like, man, tell me you saw last night's episode. I'd be like, no, I didn't. Don't talk about it. I'll watch it tonight. I promise I'll watch it tonight. And then when I get to work Saturday, I'll be like, bro, did you? Oh my God. What? And like this last episode of Jujutsu Kaisen was so amazing. And the guy they were fighting had like the power of inverse. That was like his curse power inverse. So it was like the more damage you do, the more damage he could like block or some crazy shit like that. And so it was like in order to actually hurt him, you had to do enough damage to hit him, but not so much damage that he could block it. It's this weird explanation, and they showed it. And it was like, there's this one moment, this one scene where it's like Yuji rears back to punch, and the guy like braces and he's ready to like block it, and he stops, and all of the cursed energy disappears from his hand, and he just regular punches the dude. He hit that man so hard. In the anime, they did a triple shot where they like showed that shit from 3 different angles on instant replay. You don't see that in anime. You see that in live action where they like just to give you the full force of that impact. They animated that shit in 3 different styles for you to get the impact of that punch. And that was lovely. And I cannot wait till tomorrow night to see the new episode. But yes, I'm totally tempted to read it as a result of.
So here's something, Richard. Maybe you can help me out on this. I need a place where I could find manga to read it. Free.
That is a thing. Where you
tried the whole pay for it stuff, and I wasn't reading it enough for it to actually be worth my time. So, or be worth my money. So if you happen to have some place that has locations for free, like I can look it up online all day long, but I got it brought up right now and I'm seeing like 13 different websites. So if you could like suggest one for me, because I really want to see what I can't find.
I do know that there is a
Manga Reader, Manga Tune, Manga In, Manga Plaza, Crunchyroll.
Yeah. I did not. I was about to say I did not know that Crunchyroll. If you have a paid subscription to Crunchyroll, you actually you can use that paid subscription to read manga there. But
and I had a paid subscription to Crunchyroll, and I watched Blue, the soccer anime. I watched 1 season, maybe 2 seasons of that, and that was the only thing I could find on there that I wanted to watch. Everything else was like meh.
Okay, I'm gonna put this link in our chat, and you can start here and tell me if this works for you, and if it does, then hey.
See what this is.
Now, one thing that's helping me with this. One thing that's helping me with this is that this looks like it's starting at 0.
Oh yeah.
Which means this is going in order, and I'm literally scrolling through, and this is 0. Yeah.
So all the chat. It looks like all the chapters are down below. Like you
Yeah.
can click on a specific chapter and view it, and it has the different languages like English and
Oh wow, there are 6
Portuguese.
pages. You know what? Let me see. Okay, let me see what comes up on volume. Oh, there we go. Here we go. All right, hold on. Let me bring in. We got a guest joining us, a guru. Why can't I find this mouse? The mouse wheel is there. We go. Boom! There it is.
Oh, there it is.
Talk to me, man.
Can you hear me all right?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh,
Yes,
absolutely.
I feel like people oftentimes kind of like look down their nose at the anime viewers because they read the manga. So help me out.
Don't judge me.
No,
Right.
I personally do both. So I will watch the anime. But on top of that, I guess when that season is done, then I will go and find the manga to see where they are with that particular story, and then continue on from there. A good example of that was or is Bleach, the 1,000-Year Blood War. It's just now getting its anime adaptation going right now.
Right.
And that story that they're telling now has been done probably for 10 plus years now. So you could until recently, the only way you could get the rest of the Bleach story was to read that 1,000-Year Blood War that they're now doing
Huh.
So it's like you said, people do look down at other people if they don't keep up with the story or keep up with the series. But for me, like I said, personally, for me, I just like to, if I'm into the story, then I'm going to do what I need to do to finish it or, keep that story going.
I got you.
Yeah.
And see, in a context like that, I can understand that portion of it. You know what I'm saying? And I would absolutely support that in that context. Like, okay, and this would be one of those moments because if you're following Jujutsu Kaisen, are you following both the anime?
A little bit of the anime. I kind of stopped after I forget where it was. It was right after Gojo. It's right after Gojo did that big purple and the dude with the flower on his shoulder or whatever that
Okay.
thing
Yeah.
is.
Okay,
I think that's where I stopped with the anime, and then I think I watched.
Did you check out the
Zero.
movie? Zero? Okay.
Yeah, I watched
We
Zero.
talk about Riku and
Yep.
okay.
And then after that, I kind of pick and choose the, I guess, animes that I'll watch, but I've kind of kept up with the manga on that side of that particular series.
Okay, then this will make perfect sense to you because this would be one of those moments where I would typically get this kind of reaction. As I've been like, and I'm aware that manga exists. Okay, that's the funny part. It's not like I don't know that there's mangas out there, but it's like I am following the story. I only know about Jujutsu Kaisen as a result of the first anime that I watched. The first episode that I watched where we saw Yuji at the school throwing the shot put, being part of the occult club. That was the show that I saw. And I was like, yo, this is pretty cool. And I've watched every episode since that time, right? Gojo is pretty much that dude. And they have made it very clear that Gojo is that dude.
He is that dude.
And so we're at the point now where, and I'm going to be very, very cryptic as I say this. You will understand my point. And those of you who have seen it and are up to point will get what I'm saying, but I don't want to ruin anything for anyone else. It is clear that somebody doesn't like Gojo. And it's funny because, of course, I'm watching this episode, and when I see the little box hit the ground and everybody's like rushing to try to get to the box, and we're like, okay, what's happening here? Okay, well, It's Gojo. We'll just follow and see what happens. Let somebody who's read the manga hear that and see my reaction. They're like, oh, that's where you are?
Yeah.
Well, I got some news for you, buddy. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And it's like this whole like condemnation that comes with it. And in some cases, I get it. Some people out there in the world are just assholes and they like having that moment to know something you don't. It is difficult for some people to have spoiler information and not spoil it because all they want to do is know something you don't. And the moment you know what they know, y'all are equal and they don't want that. They want to be one step ahead. So if they can tell you something you didn't know and they can ruin something for you, that makes them better. I get that. That's a lot of people. Fortunately, not any of the people who are in that group, if you scan that QR code right there in the corner, that's Grown A Geeks, where you're not going to find spoilers. You're going to find people who are willing to embrace and bring you in and be a part of this community. It's fantastic. Follow all our social medias right there. QR code right there in the corner by Brad's called Grown A Geeks. Shameless plug. But you do have people that are like that. Now, on the flip side, you have people who they just want you to experience something. And they won't say anything. And you know it's going to be like horrible to some degree because they're like, oh, that's where you are?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You're like, wait, what? No, I mean, just, just keep watching. Just keep watching. Like, what you
Yeah, I
talking
was
about?
like that with the 1,000-Year Blood War because I read that whole. I read and finished that, and then as the anime is going, it's like there's certain parts of that I got I got emotional about because I knew what was getting ready to happen,
Yeah.
and it's just like, man, whoever's just now watching this, they're in for a good treat. If you followed Bleach from start to finish, to where they are now in this whole 1,000-Year Blood War, you about to have the feels all over the place.
So if somebody wants to hear, because you know what's surprising, I actually hear a lot of people talk about 1,000-Year Blood War. If you did not watch and finish the original series Bleach, would you be able to get into 1,000-Year Blood War?
So yes, the 1,000-Year Blood War, it picks up after Ichigo gets his powers back for the last time. So I guess this is a little bit of a spoiler if you haven't read up on it. Or
We got the spoiler warning.
Yeah. So after Ichigo fights Aizen and they defeat Aizen, he loses his powers, and then the next series after that, which is the Fullbring arc, he gets his powers back, and then that's where the story kind of ends for 10 years until the 1,000-Year Blood War starts up. And then from there, he's just basically the Soul Society and the Quincy's are now at war with each other again. And you find out why that is, and then you'll have those confrontations with the Soul Society captains and vice captains, and then the Quincy's top brass. I think they're called Steinbringers or something like that. I can't remember.
Okay.
But it's a story within itself. So you can just, as long as you know who some of those main characters are, like Captain Commander. So he's the leader of the Soul Society, the Soul Reapers. You got Ichigo, you've got all those, main characters from Bleach. So if you typically know who some of those main characters are from the story beforehand, you should be able to just kind of get in there and then go with that story. And then it'll for me, it'll make you want to go back and figure out who some of these people were. They do some kind of a backstory on some of the other characters that you don't really get, I guess, in the original series. So those characters kind of get a little bit of light shine on them, and then yeah, it's like I said, if you're a fan of Bleach and you've read and watched all the anime and the manga up until the Thousand Year Blood War, you're in for a really good treat because it's a great, for me at the time, that was a great ending to the series that you can only get in manga form. It was never animated. So now that Thousand Year Blood War is being animated, I think they're on season 2 or season 3 now. So
Okay. That is good to know. Because it's like I am aware that there is a lot, like, I don't think it's safe to say that every anime has a manga. I think most, obviously not all of them. And I'm sure there's probably even been one or two anime that did well, and as a result, they got a manga to kind of keep the story going. That's no different than, like, Heir to the Empire. You like the Star Wars movies? Go read these books. This continues on the story. And you know what I'm saying? Like now what they would call Star Wars Legends. And there's always been like, comic books or books in general that finish out the story that didn't get made. They did this movie, they had this sequel. Number 3 never got done, but here's a comic book they made to finish up that story. A lot of that has happened in the past. So of course I've always been curious if like that's the case with the anime. And like I said, the one thing that seems to be different about anime versus comics and books, and maybe this is I don't know if this is like an Eastern thing versus what we do over here in the States, they tend to be a little bit more accurate in the depiction of the source material than here in the States, where it's like some shit is based on, and that's it. They do whatever the hell they want to do. Whoever sits down to pin this story, the executives, because all they trying to do, don't nobody care about telling a good story. They just want to make that money. Everybody's trying to have a Billy movie. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's trying to have a movie that makes $1 billion. Forget sometimes that I do upload this video. Like I'm just talking to people. Y'all know they try to get that billion. That's it. Like what? They try to who? They're trying to make $1 billion on this movie. So they're just putting out what needs to be put out to make $1 billion. Say what you want to say about Zack Snyder's Justice League, but there was definite studio interference. As a result, things got changed. And they said, this is, director says, this is what I want to do. They were like, nope, we want the people to come and love the movie. And we want to make it more Avengers-like. Let's get the guy who made an Avengers movie to do this. There, do that. Make people laugh, make people smile, make people feel some kind of way and love our movies the same way. You know what I'm saying? So it's like there's definitely some parts where if they would just take this book that was good and did well and put that on screen, it should do well again. Watchmen did well again. Alan Moore made a comic and it was phenomenal. And a director put that on screen. I mean, there were so many parts of that movie that were direct rips from the panels. You know what I'm saying? And I get that sometimes this whole panel is 2 seconds on screen. So you got to fill up the other 20 minutes of that conversation. I get that. But the MCU kind of did what they wanted to do with these people that we became familiar with. And the way that they went that direction with this character and that direction with that character is not like they did it in the comics. But it's okay because they've told enough of their own story that we're not necessarily following the comics. We're following this story. following the MCU. They have some stuff that's inspired by those moments because I've anybody who's watched any of our stuff, wherever we talk about Civil War, everybody should know at this point. If you don't, I'm gonna tell you again. My biggest gripe with Civil War: there were 13 people fighting on the damn tarmac at the airport. That is not how the fight goes down in Civil War. It's not. It's not. And given how much I love, where is my copy? Is it over there? I'm not gonna look for it right now, but given how much I love, I'm like, it's got to be right there. Where the hell is it? Like now, I want to find it. But given how much I love, right? Like that, as soon as we get off, I got to find it now. But given how much I love the comic Civil War, because of course, who's it written by? Mark Millar, one of the greatest comic book writers ever. But given that it was written by Mark Millar, everything that happens in the story, the way it plays out, what I'm saying, it's a fantastic story, and it's such a great story, and it's so much bigger than these 10 people that it's almost injustice to like rip it down to just these 10 people fighting. No. Civil War, that's not even a light scuffle. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, stop. But I got my splash page because Captain America was holding his shield up and Iron Man was holding his repulsor blast up, and I got the splash page from the comic. They got the feel of the story. It wasn't panel for panel. It wasn't word for word. There weren't the same lines. There was very little that was taken outside of the inspiration and the story concept. But because it so closely follows what it was about, it still does well as a Civil War story. I feel like that's the case with most of live action comic books. It's close enough and it captures the spirit of the comics. Anime, because it ain't like it's a whole lot of anime movies where they're like condensing. Like I said, with the live action One Piece, they took 95 episodes and shrunk that down into 8 episodes. Yeah. We literally figured out that they cut out 1,000 hours. We did the math. They cut 1,000 hours out of that series. And I've said this is like if Team 4-Star did if Team 4-Star did One Piece. Just the good parts. I feel like they literally have made a caricature of Luffy. I've talked extensively about that. This character Luffy, come on, bro. Y'all got to be joking with this. This is not for real. Is this for real? But if you've seen the anime, it's kind of for real. That's kind of for real. And so I feel differently if I think that the anime has free reign because it's based on the characters of this manga versus the anime being limited by the manga. And I don't feel that the anime has the freedom to veer off, And so of course I think that might be why I can watch these episodes, get to this part, have that cliffhanger, and then go pick up the manga and read through to get the rest of the story. Well, you can't necessarily do if you was to go to the movies and you was to watch the MCU Civil War and then you go home and be like, you know what, that was really good. Let me read Civil War Part 2. What the fuck is this? It's not related. This shit doesn't match at all. And because of that, it's like these are two different things happening. Maybe that's I think I may have answered my own question. Maybe that's why people who watch the manga, they look at me and they're like, well, you're not a real fan. You stop there. You're waiting for someone to tell you what happens next when it's right here. If you were really interested, just go read it. And I'm like, I'll wait for them to finish drawing it. No.
You might be waiting a while if you're waiting on them to finish drawing it. So.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like right now, just Demon Slayer, they just finished the Swordsmith Village arc. And I'm like, yo, that was so good. I can't wait for the next season. I could go read that shit. I could go read and find out what happens. And I know that, let's go to the weird twisty house and find out what's up with Muzan. And You know what I'm saying? Like if upper 2 and 3 are gonna like come back and fight, or if it's just gonna be upper 1 and Muzan, like how's this gonna go down? I could just go ahead and read that and finish it and get the end of the story.
And you have so much time to go do other things.
That's my problem. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
Nah,
if somebody like scans all the pages and reads it out and puts it on YouTube, maybe. Maybe.
There is, you know what? There is a guy that does that for Rocky the Grappler. So there's a guy on YouTube that'll basically take those chapters that come out, and then he'll do a thing, basically reading out that particular chapter. For,
I mean, if Comics Explained expands, there's a guy that I followed on YouTube for many years, Comics Explained, and whenever I like need to get a story, need a recap on a story to know what's happening with this or happening with that, or I'm having a discussion and I'm like, wait, who was it with? Hold on. Go to Comics Explained, pull it up, and like, what was Weapon H again? That was when Hulk had claws. What? I'm trying to remember. And go pull that shit up and let him do Comics Explained. He'll tell me about the 5-issue mini series and break it all down. Somebody can do that for the anime. I mean, in place of the manga, I'd be with it because I like a lot of the isekais anyway. So it's like I gotta finish. That time I got reincarnated to a slime. I would love to know if anything else was happening with. Is it wrong to try to pick up girls in a dungeon? You know, if that story continues on, I would love to know what happens there.
Hey, you know what you can do? You can go read it.
I'm saying that's the thing.
Come on
like,
now.
Damn, you know.
I'm just kidding.
I'm gonna have to like just carve out some time for manga. You know what? Honestly, if I gave up one of my, and I say this with all sincerity, I bet if I gave up one of my mobile games, the time that I spend on my mobile game could go to reading manga. But
so I did post that. I did post that manga plus link. I don't know if you saw it or not. That's what I'm using. They're just now they're getting ready to start a subscription based thing, but as of right now, you can read whatever you want to read. They have like the top 20. No, they got like the top 25 mangas that are running right now. So
of course, One Piece is in that mug still.
Yes, One Piece is in there.
I see JJK.
Yep.
Right off the top.
They've got the Boruto time skip that just started back up.
Tokyo Underworld.
And they've got some stuff in here that I've never heard of. I just started reading Undead Unluck, and it's pretty good. That just started on Hulu.
I was about to say I just heard about that.
Chainsaw Man.
Chainsaw Man is very good.
That's the other one I got to finish.
Yeah, I kind of dropped that one.
Oh no! See, here we go. Right here. Here they got them listed on the side there. Hottest: One Piece, JJK, Chainsaw Man, Boruto, My Hero, Dragon Ball Super. Come down, and there it is. Spy Family.
God,
Naruto.
That one I gotta watch. I gotta keep up with that one.
Blue
Ball. I think that is the soccer one I was telling you about.
Right. Then they got Boruto.
No, that's a badminton team.
Black Clover, Undead Unluck. Yeah, I mean the top 25 is like I obviously whatever the number 3 manga is, I should probably be into. It is the number 3 manga.
Just so you know, that is that's just based on when those particular chapters drop. You'll basically just have an influx of people going to read those. So Most
Right,
people
but-
know when those chapters drop. You know, they'll have some type of notification or something like that. So that listing there isn't basically based on what's the hottest. It's just based on when that chapter drops, then everybody's going to read that chapter and then do what they're doing.
And while I understand that, numbers still don't lie.
Oh, true.
If you have 972,000 people going to read the new chapter of One Piece, 875,000 people are going to read the new chapter of Jujutsu Kaisen, and 832,000 people are going to read the new chapter of Kagurubaki. Kagurubaki must be pretty damn good
Well,
because a bunch of
you can
people
say
showed
the-
up to read that new episode.
So you can say the same with Boruto. The time skip. It's gonna move from 5th to probably 3rd when the next chapter drops. I think they drop towards the end of the month. So that's gonna go from 5th to 3rd probably.
Okay, so just as an example, Vibration Man sits here at number 40. 70,000 people. I'm gonna guess Vibration Man not as good as Boruto. I'm gonna
True.
just, I mean, I could be wrong. It could be
True.
way better.
No, well,
But
it
I would
can
look
be
at that
way
and
better
say
for
that-
you.
Right. I mean, individual taste is always going to be individual.
Correct.
But here we go, because like even
Right.
some of these other ones, like the newest, okay, here we go. Black Clover. It made the cut. Like I said, it was in the top 25. Black Clover is number 23. 98,000 people are showing up for that. Probably because those are old. So doesn't have a lot of like new episodes, but you may have people like me who are just at the Royal Knight exams and are needing to get past that. Like once they finish that, the movie came out, boom, they jump on the anime and they're like caught up. So it's all the new people who are just getting there. That's where those 98,000 come from. The fact that it makes the top 25 still speaks to the
True.
show itself.
True.
And that's kind of where I'm looking at, because when you just look at that drop off between even something like where Boruto is, Two Blue Vortex and My Hero, and then the drop off to say Dragon Ball Super. You know what I'm saying? Super sitting at 283,000 people. You compare that to Chainsaw Man, 752,000 people came to show up. Chainsaw Man is that fire right now.
Mhm.
Chainsaw Man is that fire. Jujutsu Kaisen is absolutely that fire.
It is.
So,
It is.
Sam, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, I just took a peek at the last episode for Black Clover,
Okay.
and that's not an anime.
I'm sure it's
No,
not.
No, it is not. No, it
I'm
is
going to
not.
let you right now. I'm going to let you know right now. I know for a fact it's not, because I just saw someone that I'd never seen before, and I was just like, okay, I don't want to look at this right now.
Hold on 1 second. Give me one moment.
I'm going to have to. I can't take college this semester. I have to read manga. God, man. So I remember that soccer. I remember the soccer anime that I was watching, Blue Lock, but I can't find it on any of these sites.
What was it called again?
Blue Lock. It might have just been an anime.
Blue Lock. It's
But it
not.
had to
it's not
do
on this
with-
page?
No, it just gave me circles of death.
No, it's not. Yeah, wait there. Wow, we turned off the mic. We turned off the camera. We turn off the mic. Well, sorry about that. I am back. So, okay, so I have 2 new bookmarks, and I need to put this one in my mobile bookmarks. because these are going to work out really, really well. Bookmarks. There we go. So yeah, maybe I will get to reading some of this stuff.
Don't be like that. Don't be like that.
Again,
But
it is just a timing thing.
It
just
is.
like,
It is.
oh my God, one more thing to add to my to-do list, which is already ridiculous.
To be honest, I have all the ones that I want to read on a regular basis. I have them bookmarked, so I just know throughout the month, that particular month, I just have to check all of those pages to see if there's any new chapters, and if there's not, then I just go on with my day and do whatever I'm going to do. But when those chapters drop, then I'll just take that time to, and for the most part, for me, it's no more than say 15, 20 minutes to digest everything that for that particular chapter. And then if I want to dive deeper, then there are definitely YouTube pages out there that, that'll have people diving deeper into those particular chapters. So,
I mean, as I'm looking, it's no worse than reading a comic, or you know what I'm saying, like going through comics the way I used to. It's just like I just typically don't have the what the hell. Okay, wait, I found you. Go, what? What happened to the man who became a monster? Okay, so what episode? What is this I'm reading? I just literally just scrolled through a single chapter of Kaiju number 8. How about that?
well, I've been reading a little bit of that. So essentially, this guy wants to fight. Him and his best friend ran into some kaijus, and they had this pact to fight the kaijus. He ended up being unable to do that, and his partner ended up being like one of the top hunters of kaijus. And then a mishap happens, and now he's actually a kaiju now, helping his friend fight other kaijus that show up. So,
Okay.
but I haven't gotten too far into that just yet. Same with Undead Unluck.
Right.
Undead Unluck. The premise sounds pretty good. I've watched the first, I think, 2 episodes, anime episodes, but so far I think I've read the first 5 chapters, and it's pretty good. What else is on here? That Boruto time skip is pretty good. So that 2 Blue Vortex. So there's a Boruto, and then there's the 2 Blue Vortex, which is like a 2-year time skip. And so far, it's pretty good. So you can think of it as a like Naruto, and then Naruto Shippuden, where there's kind of like a little time skip where everybody kind of powers up and whatnot, and that's what that 2 Blue Vortex is for Boruto.
So I see Manga Plus is actually an app that's available.
It is now, I think.
Yeah. As I was scrolling through one of the series that I watch, I was like, oh, well, let me see what they have. And I'm like, wait, how do we go from chapter 3 to chapter, like it skips all the way down? I'm like, I must be missing something.
So that's just how they have it laid out. They'll have the first 3 chapters, and then as you're reading it, you can go to chapter 4, chapter 5. It'll just continue on, but the latest 3 will be at the very bottom. That's just their layout.
Okay, wait, I remember that. So I'm checking out Spy Family, just trying to see like how far along they are. All English chapters available here, only available in the app version. Okay, so the web version seems to have their okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
like I
so-
said, they just switched over to that app online platform, and you could just kind of read everything online now. Switch up, I guess, because trust comes now, they're like everybody else trying to get that money.
I mean, I get it. I ain't mad. Who is this person? Like, I just clicked on an episode to see who it is, and I'm like, that's not. Is that the wife?
Don't recognize him.
I mean, it kind of looks like the wife, though, but it's like what's happening in this issue, it wouldn't indicate.
How many episodes they got now? Oh, 87.
Yeah, I'm like, this can't be. And like, it looks like your, but I'm not.
So what you looking at, 87?
Oh, I was. What episode is this one? I am looking at 80. I was looking at 86 because I just started with where they were 85, and I was like, okay, well, let me see what this is. And I guess that was I couldn't tell. And then I clicked, and I was like, okay, well, let me go to the next one. Then in the next one, I see, what's his damn name? Forger.
Mm-hmm.
I was about to call his ass Roy. I know that ain't it. That ain't right. Roy Ford. Lloyd. So I see Lloyd in this, and I'm like, okay, if that's Lloyd, then maybe that is your. Okay.
Which one? It's in 86?
And yeah, that's in 86.
Oh, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? It's like they don't really.
That's not. That's not. That's
But
not
see,
yours.
then you come down to this last one, 87, and I'm like, that doesn't look like the chick that was just in those other episodes. Those other, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah. See, I have to kind of go through. And why is the dog looking like that? But it is still the same dog. Like, at the very least, I am happy when they get like the same people. I don't even know that it is the same people, but if like the people who work on the anime also get to work on, or the people who work on the manga also get to work on the anime, that's I think that's pretty cool. Like that should always be a thing. That should always be a thing. And if it's not a thing, somebody needs to make it a thing. But yeah, I would probably go through and try to find out like what's going on with Twilight, because hell, I think the last thing that was happening was seeing the anime. The daughter was trying to get to her classmate's house so that the dad could talk with, like have a reason for the dad to be there at the house with the other kid's dad, because the other kid's dad was like the big person who was in charge of national security for the country, and she was trying to get like all of the little awards, but wasn't having any luck. So yeah, I'd be curious to find out what happens. And so this one goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then skips to 17. Okay. So that's pretty cool. And just so everybody knows, that is Manga Plus. Manga Plus, however you choose to say it. I don't know which way is right. And I was looking at Comic K App. That was the website that I was looking at, and I have both of those bookmarked for no promises that I'm going to start reading. So nobody look at me and commit and be like, "Did you read?" Don't do that. You just set yourself up for disappointment. But the option is presenting itself. The option is presenting itself. Because I will say, do know this: if I read anything, it's going to be JJK. I'm going to read Jujutsu Kaisen because I am like on pins and needles, just waiting to find out what's going to happen. Because, that show got major. But I want to discuss some of this offline, so I don't want to spoil nothing else for nobody else. I want to thank some people for coming to hang out with me tonight. That's always so much fun. It's always cool when I don't do the show by myself. I absolutely will sit here and talk to y'all by myself, but it's great to have friends come in, and these are members as well. So click that QR code, come and join us, be a part of our group. You can find us on Facebook. You can find me, Elder Geek Samo, on TikTok, Instagram, Twitch, obviously, YouTube, and of course, I'm one of the lead admins there in the group. We hope you've enjoyed us rambling through some of the great TV shows that are out there. I was going to play video games, and then Brad came on, and we just started talking about TV shows. And I'm like, well, I got to go and change the title card now because this is not playing Wednesdays. This is TV show talk. We talked about all the TV shows, and it's good to do like a recap and a review because there's a lot of stuff out there. I don't catch it all. You know what I'm saying? Like, you hear me complain about, I don't have time. And so I need good recommendations from time to time. Do I need to move Ragnarok up? Sounds like I do. Sounds like I need to move Ragnarok up because I've been talked about it twice. So I finished a series, and once the series is finished, I've got some openings, and now put something else in that moment while I have a chance. Because if I don't, you know what I'm saying? If I don't put it in there, then it won't get there. So I got to prioritize, and I think Ragnarok's going to be the next big watch. I can fit it in now that Ahsoka's finished up, and I just finished Interview with the Vampire. So I've got two blank spots. I can put Ragnarok in there, and that's what actually got me back to watching my Black Clover. It's because I was like, you know what? I'm actually caught up on everything. So let me watch 5-6 episodes of Black Clover, which I've done because I'm now on like episode 87, 88, something like that. But I'm through all the exams and all the cool stuff. The Royal Knight selection is the next episode. We get to find out who made the cut. I mean, we already know who's going to make the cut, but you know what I'm saying? We get to see it, see the list of names. That's where I am. But it's been a pleasure. Thank you guys for coming and hang out with me. Thank you all for watching this. Share it with your friends. Let them know so that they can enjoy and see all the cool stuff we do. But we are Grown A Geeks. For Brad, Richard, and myself, Sam, we are out of here. Peace. And this is our little post-credit moment. That's a show.